what you want. Baby, I feel high when you throw it back on me. You ain't from this world, but into the galaxy. I think I'm addicted, I'm a fiend.
Everywhere we go, I see the devil trying to take these souls. So I will remain bold, cause I know God is in control. Everywhere we go, I swear the devil trying to take these souls. That's why I will stay bold. God is in control, and I'ma let the whole world know. See, this road ain't easy and it's never basic. We fighting off the devil on a daily basis, giving everything we got into all these places, whether it is 1 or 2 or a sea of faces. Jesus is the reason we can even make it. Sustain us in a place where we needed patience, keeping us safe in between all these destinations. Just know that these wheels are on heavy rotation, so we hop up on the van, Blanco, not giving them a positive message. Man, it's the gospel. People think it's fake, pointless, useless. I'm trying to convey to these folks that it's not so. Articulating God's heart properly is hard to see. Possibly must stay on your property till it's time to leave, to give everybody a chance to hear the Father's heart, like leaving the 99 to go get who know in the dark. Everywhere we go, I see the devil trying to take these souls, so I will remain bold, cause I know God is in control. Everywhere we go, I swear the devil trying to take these souls. That's why I will stay bold. God is in control, and I'ma let the whole world know. City to city, state to state up in this white van. Lord, you be the headliner, just let me be your hype man. My right hand up to heaven, I'm just trying to win souls. Remain bold and stand firm as your plan unfolds. This world is cold, and the devil ain't taking no days off, so I put in overtime working to break these chains off. No lane frost, but I'm taking care of business for the Lord. From Cheyenne to North Carolina, whipping this forward in one accord, just like the disciples at Pentecost. Down to sacrifice it all, who cares what it's finna cost? Push his pen across the page as the spirit sees fit. So whenever I hit the stage, you get a spiritual fit. And I promise to never quit no matter what the world say, cause what you gave me is special and they can't take it away. So I'll stay and pray at the altar for who's ever in need. God in control, I'm just a witness trying to follow his lead. Come follow me. God is in control. Everybody say God is in control. God is in control. If you believe it, would you say God is in control? Everywhere we go, I see the devil trying to take these souls, so I will remain bold, cause I know God is in control. Everywhere we go, I swear the devil trying to take these souls. That's why I will stay bold. God is in control, and I'ma let the whole world know. I'ma let the whole world, I'ma let the whole, I'ma let the whole world, I'ma let the whole world know. My God is in control. I'ma let the whole world know. I'ma let the whole world know. I'ma let the whole world know. My God is in control. Is in control. God is in control. God is in control. God is in control.
Scriptures say, follow the narrow road. I didn't think it would be this long. I lost a lot of family, friends, people in the truth started just disappearing from around.
Oh, yeah.
This narrow road is serious.
Yeah.
I'ma keep going. Yeah.
I came from a huge family from when I was young. Family reunions and everything, it was a lot of us. Then I found the truth and took on a whole new family. And just
like that, they all faded away. Found myself lonely. I lost a lot of family and friends along the journey. Cause they all chose the world and not eternity. I met a lot of people in this truth on this journey. And now they're gone. They disappeared from around me, you know what I mean? Said the road is getting narrow. It's so narrow, so narrow. There's no one really going this way. There's no one going this way. Said the road is getting narrow. It's so narrow. There's only a few really going this way. It's only a few really going this way. Now the scriptures say your real family are the ones in this truth and doing the Father's will. I really get that, I get that. But it's so hard to get everybody on the same page. We disagree with each other, we go our separate ways. I lost a lot of family and friends along the journey. Ooh, cause they all chose the world and not eternity. And not eternity. I met a lot of people in this truth on this journey. And now they're gone. Now they're gone. They disappeared from around me. Hey, yeah. The road is getting narrow. It's so narrow, so narrow. There's no one really going this way. There's no one going this way. Said the road is getting narrow. It's so narrow. There's only a few really going this way. It's only a few really going this way. You know, it's crazy, you know what I mean? I thought we supposed to been gathering together. But people, you know, had their own way. They want to go their own route, you know what I mean? But I'ma stay on the narrow road. However the Father has guided me. You know what I'm saying? I love my people, but I don't understand why we just can't come together. You know, you got people on different doctrines. You know, want to do different things. You know, but the road is narrow. Shawty said that. So I take him for his word. See what he's talking about now. This road is narrow. This road is narrow. It's so narrow. So narrow. There's no one really going this way. There's no one is going this way. It's so narrow. There's only a few really going this way. It's only a few really going this way. People then went back to Babylon. Gave up. They fell off. Couldn't endure. All circumstances happen sometimes. Oh yeah. Couldn't do this thing, you know what I mean? Oh. And people didn't move down south. It's getting slim, you know what I'm saying? All this road and got narrow.
Consistency in my craft, I know I see through, but it's all about patience. And every day that I wake and exhale, all the shoes that I'm thinking, Lord, even you praise, El Shaddai, ancient of days, my refuge, I hide in your place, but logic give me boldness, like I'm so brave, so brave, stepping out comfy, share crash, go on our country, give hope, and I pray they see, with the light of it and the dark sea, yo, and that's facts true, what's a two-pack, two, Jesus Christ, Yahweh Jehovah, give him praise, glory, and honor, I was stuck in my ways, then I found Christ, now I'm seeing the change. Bringing light, bringing peace, giving hope to the streets. Soon we'll see you shine your light on me. I just want to see your face, shine your light on me. I just want to see your grace, shine your light on me. light on me. Yeah.
Shine your light on me, please. Ultra beam light, help me see right in the valley of the deep. Dark shadows trying to reach me, receive help when I need thee. Eyes on the throne on the pose. Pray for my woes, peace to my foes. Be free, you know I'm from SC1, I'm a son of the ends. Bermondsey boy, I was born by the Thames. Where a lot of youths carry armor and skins. Praying that these bars bring truth and calm to the heads. Shine light for these frequencies, cold on my skin, that's sweet to see. Arm bound in my sleeve as I lead my team. Did you believe?
I was stuck in my ways. Then I found Christ, I'm seeing a change. Bringing light, bringing peace, giving hope to the streets. Soon we'll see you shine your light on. I just want to see your face, shine your light on. I just want to see your grace, shine your light on me. Shine your light on me. Shine your light on me. Shine your light on me.
Hey, blessings to you while I am. I see you in the building, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my brother. You know, Shabbat started at 7 o'clock, my brother. He gonna go all the way up to Saturday, families, till 7. I want to say Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasharallah that's scattered on all four corners of this planet. I want to say Kwam Yasharallah. Oh, rise, Yisrael. Let's go, families. Okay, families, I did say that I was going to come amongst us. It was a little late, families, but families, we must get this session in, families, because tomorrow, families, we're gonna have a lot of people from Israel, families, that is going to do their classes through the Sabbath, while everybody else is out there partying, doing whatever they doing, whatever the case may be. Families, Israel will actually be trying to study, families. The reason why, because families, we need to learn on how can you put on your heavenly garment. When Ezekiel was trying to tell you about your full body of armor, families, he gave you every type of details, families, from Exodus. He told you how to properly wear it, families, when you go to Ezekiel. He teach you the purpose of your garments, man. That will be Ezekiel chapter 43 and verse 12. Is that dagger, because it's a law only to Israel. All laws is not meant for everybody, man. That's what most people need to get an understanding on. So when some people sit there and say, well, this don't apply to me, we know. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 43, just to let those that do know that like I said, that hey, we all been saying that, families. Only those that's coming in this truth, we've been telling people that certain things, everything ain't meant for everybody. But there are certain things in the scriptures, families, because Hamashiach comes as the volume of the book. Only Yasharallah knows that this whole book is meant for them. We believe every word. So for those that sit there and say that the laws are done away with and certain laws ain't meant for you, we know. We can't even tell you no more because we know. But guess what laws are meant for us? For Israel. Ezekiel chapter 40-12. Ezekiel chapter 43 verse 12. This ain't meant for everybody. We're going to read verse 5 through 12. 12 is that dagger. Verse 5. So the Ruach took me up and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of the Most High filled the house. Now, families, a lot of people, especially Israel, most Christians don't know what we're talking about when we say this. Christian apologists don't have no idea. People that are in Islam don't have no idea when the Most High sits there and says a inner courts. Who is trying to enter the inner court? The inner court families are the sanctuaries through the temple families. That way that you can sit at the Most High's table. So you can sit at his table. Who's going to sit at his table? Families. Everybody ain't going to be sitting at Yah's table. He's going to. Ezekiel saw this in a vision. How you know he saw this in a vision? Because our Heavenly Father showed him that. He's showing him that only a set apart, chosen people that believe in the laws, statutes, and commandments of his ordinances, families, is going to obey what I'm finna to read y'all. Check this. Hey, blessings, beautiful Queen No Shade. Yeah, we're a little late, sis. Shabbat Shalom, Queen. Everybody, Israel on all four corners of the planet. You do know that on Friday at 7 o'clock, families, that is when the Shabbat begins. It will go from 7 all the way up to Saturday, families, to 7. With that being said, families, we is talking about the inner courts. How can you get into the inner courts, families? That way that you can sit at the Most High's table. This ain't meant for everybody. This was a vision. Check this out. Let me go. For a matter of fact, families, we're going to start at 1 and read all the way down to 12. That way that we can get into it so people can get an understanding. Afterwards, he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh towards the east, families. And behold, the glory of the Most High of Israel came from the way of the east, families, because, families, the Garden of Eden was in the east. Jerusalem is in the east. Let's pay attention, man, because, families, right now in his vision, he just made it to the gate. He ain't even inside, families. The gate of what? The kingdom, man. When people sit there and say the kingdom to come, the kingdom of Yah, all right then, this is meant for you. But if you're not going to read this, this was never meant for you. You skipping over it. Check this out. And behold, the glory of the Most High of Yasharallah came from the way of the east, and his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory. And it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw. The vision of what? Of who saw? The vision that Isaiah done seen. The vision that the Most High just gave to Ezekiel. Ezekiel just made it to this gate. Let's continue. Even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the vision was like the vision that I saw by the river Shabar. And I fell upon my face. And the glory of Yahuwah came into the house by the way of the gate, whose prospect is towards the east. So the Spirit took me up, the Ruach took me up, and brought me into the inner court. The Most High just opened up the doors, families. Check this out. And behold, the glory of Yahuwah filled the house. And I heard him. Who heard him? Families, you will hear him, families, if you understand these scriptures. Ezekiel heard him. Isaiah heard him. And I heard him speak unto me out of the house. And the man stood by. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Yasharallah forever. Who sat there and said that the Most High just threw Israel out the way? Families, will no prophet bag you up in that? That's why you think you have a lot of people stay in the New Testament. Why you think people stay in Paul's letters? A lot of people, sometimes families, they will read maybe a prophecy from Matthew or maybe John. Sometimes they might hop into Mark. But families, they never go to the days of old where Mark, John, Luke, Timothy, All them got all their prophecies from who? Their ancestors, man. People ain't understanding that Paul used to go out there and kill Christians. The Christians was called the Christians was the apostles. The Greeks changed their names, families. Then sit there and say, we're not gonna call you apostles because we knew that, so we're gonna call y'all Christians. Man, families, don't let nobody steal your identity more than, or let people out here destroy your identity more than what they done already done. It doesn't make no sense. So in order for you to put on your priestly garments that most people is not talking about right now, only Israel is talking about this. Those that claiming themselves as an Israelite is talking about this. Ain't nobody else that's in this gospel speaking like this in this hour, man. I can show you a sister right now, families, that's speaking like this, that ain't nobody heard of, families. I don't see how she ain't getting 15,000 views, 20,000 views, and she's coming with that truth. And she's white. She's white. Man, people, I'm trying to tell you, this ain't no color thing, man. This is a culture. That's what this is, families. Check this out, man. Verse 7 again. Come on, Yasharala, we have to wake up. Come on, man. Popularity will get you killed, man. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Yasharala forever. And my holy name shall the house of who? Yasharala no more defile, neither they nor their kings by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in their high places. In their setting of their dress hold by my dress hold, and their post by my post. You see how the Most High is doing the division? He letting you know that whoever you following, if they not claiming themselves Israel, then families, he's finna sit there and say that it's finna be you. He don't give a care how much love you have. Families, man, we is in the end time families where the Most High is finna bring very pain to you, to mankind. It don't matter if you rich, if you poor, if you black, if you white, if you green, if you purple, if you like to boo-boo on yourself, if you pee on yourself a lot. It doesn't matter if you stutter a lot. It doesn't matter, man. Family, this was a judgment that was been waited on, man. And this is a judgment on the whole earth. Check this out, man. But those that's trying to understand obedience, we understanding structure, the Most High is showing us something that most people is not speaking about right now. And we is trying to find out how can we put on our priestly garments so we can enter the inner courts. Once you first you got to get through the gate. Then you got to go through the inner courts so you can walk through what? The sanctuary. Families, in order to get to his throne, there's a sanctuary you got to go through. That way you can sit where? At his table. Check this out, my brothers and sisters. This real deal Holyfield, man. Verse 8. And their setting of their dress hold by my dress hold, and their post by my post, and the wall between me and them. They have even defiled my holy name by their abominations that they have committed. Wherefore I have consumed them in mine anger. Families, we ain't got nothing. We can't stop what the Most High is finna do. People is thinking that it like if you just be just families, your love have to be for Him. You have to fear Him first as the beginning of all wisdom, families. That way that you can be able to love your neighbor. If you don't fear your Father and understand these prophecies, you ain't loving your neighbor. You ain't loving. You ain't got no love for me. You don't even love your creator. What did he tell you to do? What is he mad at? Why is he so pissed off? Why are you skipping these scriptures? You can tell people, man. People make it seem like there are prosperity teachers out here, and they speak against prosperity. But families, listen to them. They bloodline is made of prosperity. Don't make no sense, man. Them cats ain't no battle. They ain't ready for war, man. Men is ready for war at this hour, families. Them kids, man. Them kids, man. Check this out. Then let them put away their whoredom and the carcasses of their kings far from me. That's why I've been trying to tell people, families, if you come with that half truth, stay far away from me. That's real talk. If you can't tell me why my creator, my daddy, is mad at us so much, because we brothers, we sisters, that means that we have a father that's pissed off right now. Why? He told us why. He gonna tell you why, families. We don't put him to a shame, families. Check this out. You know how you go to places, your kids is out there in the middle of the supermarket, families, just acting a fool. Families just embarrassing you. Families, that's what we doing to our creator right now. We out here acting a fool. Completely embarrassing him right now. And then we making it seem like that we don't know what the heck is going on and why he ain't and why he's so mad. Don't make no type of sense. Let's go, family. Now let them put away their whoredom and the carcasses of their kings far from me, and I will dwell in the midst of them forever. The Son of Man, show the house of Salaki, the Son of Man, show the house to the house of Yasharallah, that they may be ashamed of their iniquities, and let them measure the pattern. What you gonna measure your pattern with is your flaws that's within inside of you. That's what you're gonna measure. You're gonna use that same rule that people be out there judging to their brother with. Well, family, you need to use that exact same measure to yourself. And if they be ashamed of all that they have done, that's why I can't check nobody. If my big brother, my savior, my redeemer, my deliverer, Hamashiach, Yeshua, families, can sit here and sit there and says that you judge, but I judge no man. Families, I'm gonna do exactly what he said, families. Exactly what he said. And if they be ashamed of all that they have done, show them the form of the house, and the fashion thereof, and the goings out thereof, and the comings in thereof, and all the forms thereof, and all the ordinances thereof, and all the forms thereof, and all the laws thereof, and write it in their sight, that they may keep what? The whole form thereof, and all the ordinances thereof, and do them. Check this out. Verse 12. This is the law of the house upon the top of the mountain, the whole limit thereof, round about shall be most holy. Behold, this is the law of the house. Let's bag that up, families, in Ezekiel chapter 44. A chapter over, families, because people ain't understanding they body of armor. When you go to Ephesians, and Paul was trying to say, where did he get that at, man? Paul was speaking all through the Torah, man. He was quoting out of Ezekiel. He went to the book of Exodus, families. He was quoting out of that. He quoted Exodus 28 all the way down to 35. He was showing you how it was heavily made, families. The Most High told us how to make your priestly garments, what to put on it, families, what to put on the border of your priestly garments, families. That families, he teach you, families, how that when you go into the inner courts, families, you have to take off certain clothes, families, and then put on other clothes so your heavenly garments, families, won't be defiled by people that you encounter. Ain't that something? Let's go. Let's go chapter over. Ezekiel chapter 44. Then he brought me back the way of the gate, an outward sanctuary, which looketh towards the east, and it was shut. Why was that door shut? Check this out. Then said Yahuwah unto me, This gate shall be shut, it shall not be open, and no man shall enter in by it, because Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yasharallah, have entered in by it. Therefore it shall be shut. This it is for the prince. The prince, he shall sit in it to eat bread before Yahuwah. He shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate, and shall go out by the way of the same. Then brought he me the way of the north gate before the house, and I looked, and behold, the glory of Yahuwah filled the house of the Most High, and I fell upon my face. And Yahuwah said unto me, Son of man, mark well. What are you going to mark? Everything that he told you that was going to be thereof in Ezekiel chapter 43. When he sat there and says that these are those that are most holy. He tell you all your answers, my brothers and sisters. And behold, with thine eyes and ear, with thine ears, all that I say unto thee concerning all the ordinances of the house of Yahuwah, and all the laws thereof. And he said, do what? And mark well the entering in of the house, with every going forth of what, families? The sanctuary. Check this out. And thou shalt say to the rebellious, even the house of Yasharallah, Thus said the Most High Yahuwah, O ye the house of Yasharallah, let it surface you of all your abomination, those that thinking everything is all good and gravy. Let's have fun. Man, we in the middle, finna be in the middle of World War III, and people out here talk about let's have fun. That's crazy. And that ye have brought into my sanctuary strangers, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in my sanctuary, to pollute it, even my house, when ye offer my bread, the fat and the blood, and they have broken my covenant because of all your abominations, and ye have not kept what? The charge of mine holy things, but ye have set keepers on my charge of my sanctuaries for yourselves. The Most High trying to sit there and say, families, he gave Ezekiel a vision, families, sitting there saying that people is going to come in this book, families, making it seem like families that get, hey, it's all this love thing, families. The love that ran all the way out. All the way out. He still wants you to love in this hour, but nah, families. Families, he's sitting there saying that families, we so wicked, families, that we bring anybody into the, and then make it seem like families that we is part of the body of Hamashiach. When you don't know no rules, you don't know no structure, you don't know no foundation. You read it, but you don't even apply it in your life. Don't make no type of sense. Don't make no people playing games out here. That is crazy, man. He ain't done with us. Do you think his vision was done? No, because he's trying to show you that who's going to sit at his table. He's going to show you that who's going to be wearing these heavenly priestly garments. He's going to show you why he sat there and says that those that keep my laws, they will be found great in the kingdom. Those that forsake my laws, you're going to be found least in the kingdom. Because families, you're going to be in the outer courts. You're not going to be in the inner courts. You're not even going to make it to the sanctuary. Families, you're going to be just like that woman, a sister, families, that ate food off the ground like a dog. Like a dog. But Hamashiach still showed her favor because of what? She knew what she was about. And she accepted it, families. And because of her faith, he granted her. Stuff get deep, families. People stay out of certain scriptures. The question you need to ask yourself is that if you is getting, or if you is for, if families, once people come into this book, they done came into your culture. They done came into your history. They trying to steal your power that the Most High gave to you, and they're gonna flip it on you, and they're gonna use your own power against yourself, man. Why? Hosea, families, sat there and says that my people are destroyed because of what? The lack of knowledge, my brothers and sisters. Don't make no type of sense. Why ain't people telling you this in this hour, man? That's why no, you want me to tell you who is though? The Israelites. That's who's doing it in this hour. But don't nobody want to claim themselves an Israelite. The Most High is telling us right now, don't worry about those that not claiming themselves as Israel. He ain't even messed up. He can care less now, man. Pretty soon, when everything hits the fan, he gonna have mercy for you. But family, you gotta have mercy for yourself first. Check, man, this pissed the Most High off, man, because people is coming up with their own rules. People coming up with their own disciples, man. This is what he's doing. Check this out. And ye have not kept the charge of my holy things. Them are those that don't keep the feast days. They can care less. They're the ones that come up with excuses and sit there and say, you don't know the feast days. Them are those that don't want to keep the Sabbath days. They want to sit here and tell you that don't no man out here know when the Sabbath day is. Man, the people that's telling you, man, don't eat swine flesh. You know what I'm saying? When your father, your creator, tell you, you don't know what they putting in your in the McDonald's burgers and stuff. Nah, family, you don't listen to no mess like that, man. These cats are making you. They are robbing you from your from your garments, man. That you was birthed with. And the Most High know good and heck well you trying to receive your priestly garments. And these people is keeping you away from it because you want to take the time to listen to that? Who does that in this hour? Those, man, that sit there saying that they saved, family, and don't even know the true definition of salvation. Thus said the Most High Yahuwah, no stranger, uncircumcised in heart, nor uncircumcised in flesh, shall enter into my sanctuary. Of any stranger that is among the children of Yasharallah and the Levites, they are gone away, far from me. When Yasharallah went astray, which went astray away from me after their idols, they shall even bear their iniquities. That's what's going on with Israel right now. Families, because we started following against everybody else. We wanna do the custom of every nation out here, families, instead of our own custom. Oh, Kwam Yasharallah, man, rise, Israel. It's time for you to rise. It's time for you to quit listening, man, to these heathens out here, families, that's not making your election sure. Families, you have hope and sure enough, families, that the Most High is going to grant you this, families. Check this out. Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary. Who's going to be ministers? Yasharallah, families. Not every man on this planet. The Most High would like that, but that's not going to happen. Yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, having charge at the gates of the house. These are true watchmen, and ministering to the house. They shall slay the burnt offerings and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister unto them. Check this out. Because they minister unto them before their idols and cause the house of Yasharallah to fall into iniquity. Therefore have I lifted up my hand against them, said Yahuwah the Most High, and they shall bear their iniquities. Ain't nobody gonna stop that, man. It don't matter how many scriptures that you go into, Paul letters, showing Matthew, don't even understand the reason why Matthew quoted what he quoted. Don't understand why John quoted what he quoted. Don't understand why James quoted what he quoted. Don't understand none of that. But you stay in the New Testament for what? That's the new covenant. Man, you don't even know the reason why he even made a new covenant. Verse 13. And they shall not come near unto me. Who's not going to come near unto me? These devils, man, out here using our book. And then, families, these are the exact same devils that we out there go listen to. How you going to listen to a Man, that don't make no sense. Let me be quiet. Come on, Moses, let's go. Because they minister unto them before their idols and call, wait a minute, hold on. Verse 13, Salaki. And they shall not come near unto me to do the office of a priest unto me, nor to come near to any of my holy things. You see how the Most High finna make a separation? Now you see when Hamashiach, when you do go to the New Testament, when he sat there and says that I only came for the lost sheep of Israel. Okay. In the most holy place, but they shall bear their shame and their abominations which they have committed. But I will make them what? Keepers of the charge of the house, for all the service thereof, and for all that shall be done therein. The Most High finna give us jobs when we go into the kingdom to come on this planet. Man, Israel will have rulership all over this planet. Israel, the true body of believers. But the priests, the Levites, the son of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary, when the children of Yasharallah went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, said Yahuwah the Most High. They shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge. And watch how your priestly garment is going to change. And it shall come to pass. I love it when he say that. And it shall come to pass that when they enter in at the gates in the inner court, they shall be clothed with white garments and no wool. And no wool shall come upon them while they minister in the gates of the inner court within. They shall have linens, bonnets upon their heads, and shall have linens, breeches upon their loins. They shall not grind themselves with anything that causes sweat. You see how the Most High is trying to make sure you stay cleansed. Families, you got to stay away from all, man. You really have to watch out who you listen to. You have to watch out who you be around. You have to watch out for certain people, man, that you know for a fact, families, that's stuck in their own little ways. And that's real deal Holyfield. It doesn't matter how sweet they are. It doesn't matter, man. You're going to die being sweet. For it is what it is. Man, real men, sons of Zion, man, it's time for us to man up. The Most High is telling us right now in these scriptures, families, doing our studies. We don't show you too many brothers that's in this truth, that's telling you that it's time for you to strap up and boot up. You can go elsewhere, families. There are other brothers that we have out there, but they're not telling you to strap up and boot up. I don't know what they got going on. All I know is that I can't listen to that stuff no more. So all I pray is that they come into this truth. But families, you can't be going backwards when the Most High is trying to move you forwards. That don't make no type of sense. James chapter 1 verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Why you want to go back for? When the Most High is pushing you forward. Don't make no type of sense. Families, we is trying to get to the gate. That way that we will have power to enter into the gate. Power is that understanding, that wisdom that he said that he gave to you, and that we read in Ezekiel chapter 43. That way, families, that we will be able to change our garments, families. That way that when we walk into his sanctuary, we keeping his charge. That means we keeping his ordinances. If you keeping his ordinances, you keeping his laws. This was a law for those that's on the top of the mountain. Check this out. And when they go forth into the utter court, even into the utter court to the people, they shall put off their garments, wherein they minister, and lay them in the holy chambers, and they shall put on other garments, and they shall not sanctify the people with their garments. Neither shall they shave their heads, nor suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only pull their heads. That he really telling us, so he's not telling you to like get an edge off and nothing like that. You ain't supposed to get no edges and stuff. These are cultures. People will sit there and tell you that ain't what that mean. It's just telling you to cut it low. Your family, you don't see edge right there though. Did he tell you to get an edge? No, man. Check this out. Neither shall they shave. He told you not to shave your head, nor suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only pull their heads. That just mean cut it low, families. Neither shall any priest drink wine when they enter into the inner courts. Neither shall they take for their wives a widow, nor her that is put away. But they shall take maidens, and the seed of the house of Yasharallah, or a widow that had a priest before. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. And the controversy that shall stand in judgment, they shall judge it according to what? My judgments. He not once sat there and said that whenever you wake up and you think that you have the power to sit here and to expose, he said of his judgments. Check this out. And they shall what? Keep my laws and my statutes. In what, families? In all my assemblies. And they shall hallow what? My sabbats. And they shall come and no dead person to defile themselves, but for father, or for mother, or for son, or for daughters, or for brothers, or for sisters that have no husbands, they may defile themselves. And after he is cleansed, they shall reckon unto him 7 days. And in the day that he goeth into the sanctuary, unto the inner courts, to minister into the sanctuary, he shall offer his sin offering, said Yahuwah the Most High. And it shall be unto them for an inheritance. I am their inheritance. And ye shall give them no possession in Yasharallah, for I am their possession. That is powerful, man. So a lot of people will sit there and say, man, them was only for the Levites. Families, you was in a new priesthood, man. You was in the orders of Melchizedek. The Most High was giving him an order of what you supposed to be practicing in when you go into the new kingdom. You wasn't supposed to just read this, families, and making it seem like that this didn't apply to you. No, it's for the Levites. Man, read your scriptures, man. I'm getting learned correctly, families. I know exactly who it's for.
Your love arrested me, came right out the best of me. Now I'm victorious, screaming Jesus till I rest in peace. Yeah, so winning, grinding on the front line. Light out here shining like the one time. Your love arrested me, came right out the best of me. Now I'm victorious, screaming Jesus till I rest in peace. Yeah, so winning, grinding on the front line. Light out here shining like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. One time, light shine, I shine like the one time. One time, I shine, light shine like the one time. Yeah. So winning, grinding on the front line. Victorious is a mind state. Front line is where I stay. Shine Christ like neon light. When it come to games, I do not play. Like we hold like lanterns. Watch a man turn from the bad burn. Prodigal when he came home. Got the rain like Saturn. Because the Father put him back in his possession. Didn't make sense of us, but that's just how we did it. He love you so much that he'll do the same. Either way, you'll never change. Through the rain and all the pain, his love will maintain. Your love arrested me, came right out the best of me. Now I'm victorious, screaming Jesus till I rest in peace. Yeah, sowing and grinding on the front line. Light out here shining like the one time. Your love arrested me, came right out the best of me. Now I'm victorious, screaming Jesus till I rest in peace. Yeah, sowing and grinding on the front line. Light out here shining like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. Yeah. So when they grinding on the front line. See, I won't lie. Before Christ, all I ever knew is what death like. I was a mess like straight late night, slow turning, burning them meth pipes, and it felt like I could never change. People telling me I'd always be the same. Then Jesus came, destroyed every chain, broke addiction, and ended the devil's reign. Oh, now I'm so free. Yeah, ain't nothing like I used to be. I got the victory. Satan is sick of me. When I come through, he know he gotta flee. Oh, I'm shining like the one time. So winning out here grinding on the front line. One time for the remnant in the field, though, standing upright, kicking in like a field goal. And that's real though. See, I will go make disciples. It's vital that we spark revival and stand for the truth of the God of the Bible. Was suicidal, but now I give life. Was stuck in the dark, now I give light. Shine bright till they all stop and see like a COP. The love of God, arrested me, but I'm so free. Your love arrested me, came right out the best of me. Now I'm victorious, screaming Jesus till I rest in peace. Yeah, sowing and grinding on the front line. Light out here shining like the one time. Your love arrested me, came right out the best of me. Now I'm victorious, screaming Jesus till I rest in peace. Yeah, sowing and grinding on the front line. Light out here shining like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. One time, I shine like the one time. Yeah, sowing and grinding on the front line.
All praise to the Most High, family. That's what I'm talking about, family. Families, you can actually look around, families, and you can tell there are certain people out here, families. They know how to lift their hands. They know how how their hands supposed to be lifted up to the air. It's not supposed to be folded in like that, family. No, you're supposed to have your hands lifted to the air, giving praises to the Most High. It's never supposed to be closed in. That's a Roman Catholic doctrine and teaching that they made us do. They made you have to quit doing these certain things. You know what I'm saying? And get retarded again. If you willing to get retarded again, then families, the Most High, he made these priestly garments for you. It was always made for you. Let's get a song for our sisters. I will be playing these tracks again tomorrow, families, because tomorrow we will go into phase 2 because we gotta have our lesson for the day. I know I done kind of wasted time, families. It started kind of late, but families, we have to know this in order to know what Moray Josh will be talking about for tomorrow. Me, I done already went over it twice, but for those, man, that just rocked out with me, I think I got this one brother, man. He sent me a comment, and I just want to tell you, bro, man, just continue to watch the videos, bro. I show one thing about me, bro, is that I don't come up with my own interpretation of the scriptures. I just try to remember how I've been taught, and I bring it back to my brothers and sisters. That's one thing. The Ruach, it truly do leads me, but at the same token, I let people know how I'm getting taught. I show you all my moves of the way that the Ruach is truly leading Israel. We truly do teachings. So for that one brother, if you ever come and rock out with me, bro, I think you have a name called UFO. And what UFO is, bro, is not what they trying to call it is. UFO is really standing for the chariots of the Most High. Just to let you know, you don't even know that your name's supposed to be standing for a chariot. And the people that's in that UFO, meaning aliens, is you.
You will be considered an alien because you is righteous. But they want to call it a UFO. So if you ever come and holler at me, bro, man, this is Mo Valley. I hope that you love the brothers and sisters that you see in the chat. And man, Kwam Yasharala, man, you an Israelite. So embrace who you are, and let's go, bro. We got work to do. That's the only thing that I can tell you. We got work to do. Just like I'm learning, I hope that you will be edified and you will learn as well. That's if you ever come to this video. I see that you be watching the videos, and I'm very honored by that. But it ain't for me. It's for Israel, and all praises to the Most High Yah. It's time for us to study. Let's go. This is a song for the ladies. Come on, daughters of Zion. Let's go.
Don't despise it, embrace it. She wears her wisdom like a bracelet. A virtuous woman takes care of her man. She don't show no skin cause she's modest. She's covered from head to toe, she looks flawless. My heart is safe with you cause you're a precious gift from the Most High. Her intuition, she's aware so you should listen. She's full of wisdom. Her tongue, it speaks words of kindness. Oh, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. Oh, say it again, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. I think I'll say it again, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. Oh, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. She is virtuous, she's luxurious with her love. Through her righteousness, I know that she's sent from above. She's set apart, and she has a beautiful heart. If beauty is the standard, she be it. All those other women are counterfeit. We must protect our women, give homage and all that she's worth. Oh, her intuition, she's aware so you should listen. She's full of wisdom. Her tongue, it speaks words of kindness. Oh, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. Oh, say it again, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. I think I'll say it again, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. Oh, there's nothing like a virtuous woman. There's nothing like a virtuous woman. There's nothing like a virtuous woman.
All praises to the Most High Yah Yahuwah families. His only begotten Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Those that call him Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Emmanuel, and the set apart Ruach HaKodesh families that fire. Let's go, families. It's time for our lesson, families. Families, this lesson probably gonna last about an hour, but we gotta get this in. Your brother's done talking. You know how I get, families. You know how I get. You know what I'm saying? But it's time for us to get into the spiritual meat. Families, babies, go sip milk. Men, and women, we look for the spiritual meat of the word. Let's go. Oh man, we got to give a shout out to our other beautiful sister, beautiful Queen Jacqueline, as well as beautiful Queen Anointed. They come in the build, the beautiful Queen Mama Miranda. We got to give them some shout outs, families. They be coming in the build and showing the love, families. I just want to thank y'all for actually setting us apart on the real deal. And families, we deeper than what we think, families. We truly are. We just scattered abroad, families. The Most High, one day, the Most High will get Israel together, families. But for right now, families, we just got to be amongst other Israelites. You know what I'm saying? To that way that we can get the true spiritual meat. Because families, when you go wander all families, you starting to have itching ears. And families, that's when you're gonna start feeding into philosophies. You're gonna feed into misinterpretations. And families, you ain't gonna get no mysteries. You're not gonna get one. The words sound good, but you could have read that by yourself. Let's go.
Version of people that's in church. But we know, like, our ancestors at one point in time was in the church seeking the Most High, right? So they had spirit, they had ruach, but they didn't have no truth. So they was unbalanced. We come into the awakening, we have truth, no ruach, we be unbalanced. The crazy thing is that they didn't, like I say, because they didn't allow them to have understanding proper of the scriptures and stuff like that. So all they knew was they had the ruach. A lot of them would prophesy. They would have dreams. They have visions. They have all this other stuff, but they didn't have the text. They didn't have the understanding of the word, and they had the understanding of the name. So when you come on this side, and once you apply all those things, you're applying all those things. You're applying precepts. You're applying knowledge of the text and understanding of the text to not know it. Say lie. You are understanding the text to not remember the text. That's
Now, what Brother Josh is trying to let people know is that families, you actually have teachers out here that's doing that right now. They claim themselves ministers. Those that's in there saying that the Most High done anointed them to have themselves a ministry. Families, they will read certain scriptures and then they keep on going over the exact same scriptures, families. They don't understand the precepts. They don't understand it. And then when you go over these exact same precepts, over the exact same, you still don't know what the text is talking about. How it? Because it wasn't given to you. You chose yourself. But because you read the scripture where it sits there and says, did you choose yourself or did the Most High choose you? Man, we all read that. But what was the true understanding and meaning behind that? But people run from that type of stuff. That's what I don't get. When you really have people like, oh, I know, we must not be 100 deep, so we must be speaking lies. Man, no, man. Families, the Most High mess with small numbers. So once we all come together, He will build us up. You don't build your own self up. He gonna build us up. Let's go, Yasharala.
you're going to come to the conclusion of. Because that's the whole point of the ruach. The whole point of the ruach is for the Torah to be where? Written on your heart and on your mind. So you come to a because what happened is, see, this is the thing that the prophets had. The prophets had the ruach and truth, right? But the prophets would do things that there's no precept for, and they would call it heresy. Go read Jeremiah. Go read what happened with Elijah. Go read what happened with Isaiah. Go read what the prophets did. They would do things there was no precept for. You couldn't go out in the text and precept it. The things that Ezekiel did right now are considered to be, our people were considered to be sins. They would try to condemn Ezekiel and say he was a heretic. Most High told him to lay on the side for so many days. On his other side for so many days. Take his own dung and cook cakes. I'm just being real with you. Somebody will pop up like, you unclean so-and-so? That joke ain't nothing but a heathen. He a liar. Lies. Somebody be on YouTube. Lies. Most High didn't tell you to do that. Just being real. So, but they knew the Torah. They had the Torah, but they also had the Ruach. But they had got to the point that there was, in the Ruach is the Torah. The Ruach is the Torah. The Ruach is the Torah. That's the reason why it says when you receive the Ruach, you will need what? No man to teach you. And that will bring what? All words to your remembrance. It brings you back to the Torah. So what the prophets did was the prophets had the ability to operate outside of those constructs. And it still be the Torah. Right? So when you... Oh, somebody grab me some batteries. You don't mind? Yeah. So yeah, man, that's loud. It's hot, ain't it? So what you're doing is, through your maturity, because we going back and we learning the Torah is activating the Ruach, and then you're operating in the school of the prophets. This is what the order of Melchizedek is. There's a reason why what the Malachim did was so much different than what we think. What people don't realize is they think they operating in the text. They're really more so moving like Ashkenazi Jews. Right? Because them people ain't never had no Ruach. Never had no Ruach. They can shut me down for saying it. They ain't never had no Ruach. Y'all show me. Yeah. Go show me what spiritual movements they led. What spiritual movements? I'll wait. What spiritual movements they led? When do they worship and it move people to tears? I'll wait. Somebody show me, somebody tell me, they be like, that move the masses. Yeah. That move the masses. Somebody like, man, he's anti-Semitic. Right? But they're not only that, not for Shem. There's other people that are Semitic that they can just say anything about. They can bomb countries, Semitic countries, not a big deal. But it's them, they gotta do something about it. So, but anyway, saying all that to say this. So, what spiritual movements were led by them? So, but they know the text. They know that text now. They know that text. They know the text, and all of that. They even got their old commentary called the Talmud with all their lies and witchcraft in it. So, I'm saying that so knowing the text didn't move them, or it didn't evolve them into a spiritual being. They wasn't able to take off those old garments and walk into this priesthood. As my Aunt Malu say, Hastan know the text too. Matter of fact, somebody got a mic. Make sure I got a mic over there. So saying all that to say, so you have to get to the point. The text is trying to equip you. It is trying to clothe upon you with the ruach of understanding. It's trying to get you to a point where you don't have to go from precept. People, I'm just saying this for edification. People come to me all the time asking me like, Josh, when you study? When you had the time to do the lesson? I was like, I did it before I went up. Real talk. And witnesses are all here, they done seen me do it. People think I done studied the lesson for 2 weeks. Most I gave it to me 5 minutes before I went up. Because of the ruach. I sit and I pray. How do you study? I pray. Huh? Josh, can you show me how you study? I pray. Real talk. It's the Ruach HaKodesh. So this is the context of what the Most High is trying to build you into a spiritual man where you don't lean on text, because you can't see text all the time. This is why Shaul says you were like a man looking in the mirror and then forget what manner of man he was. You see what I'm saying? But when it's written on your heart, you become it. You can't never not be it because you become that thing. So we're supposed to be building that spiritual man. So in context is when you what the Torah is supposed to be doing. Once you have Torah and you had a ruach, it's supposed to be building you that you don't need the text. We don't neglect the text. We're gonna study the text. We're gonna know the text. But it's making you into that you are the text. Right? You have to become it. That's when you took off that old garment. You took off that old man and you put on that new ruach. That ruach of praise for the garment of heaviness. Let's keep going. Let's go to Ephesians 4. The Shalakim knew this, man. They knew this. This is the order of Melchizedek. It's a different order. If you can't understand spiritual things, you are dead. That don't mean that you can't receive life. But it might be that you missed the time of your visitation. So verse 22. Now I saw 21. If so be that you've heard of him, and you have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahushua, that you put off the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the what? Deceitful lust, and be renewed by the ruach. Right? This is the reason why it says that the Torah killeth and the ruach gives life. Because the Torah, it wasn't when Shaul was saying that, it wasn't saying it in a negative term. Because in order for you to be resurrected, you have to die by the sword. You have to die by the Torah. You daily, right? You have to see yourself in that text. That old man have to die. You have to leave him there. You have to take off that garment, that filthy garment that Yahushua had, the high priest had on. You have to take it off and be clothed upon with righteousness. In the midst of the congregation. If I say midst. In the midst of the congregation. Because that's what proves your mettle. That's the reason why in the dream, I was in the middle of the classroom, changing the garments. Everybody was watching me and seeing me. Because look, when they see these things happen, it brings glory to the name of Yahuwah. And it established your righteousness. It established the witness about who you are. Did Yahushua suffer in front of the world, or did he suffer off in the corner? Publicly, in the whole world. He was declared righteous publicly, and he was proven publicly. 21. If you so you've heard of him, you've been taught by the truth was in Yahushua, that putting off or taking off concerning the former conversation, the old man which is corrupt from all deceitful lust, and being renewed by the ruach of your mind, that ye have put on that what? Which is after Elohim, created in righteousness and true set apartness. Wherefore, put away lying, speak every man truth to his what? For we are members of one another. Be ye angry and let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place for Hasatan. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give him that needeth. Let no corrupt communication, because they ain't just cussing. They ain't just cussing. Any corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Because whatever, look, this is the thing about the way the Most High made us. Whatever's in your heart will come out. It's going to come out your mouth. It's coming out your mouth eventually. So, if that thing came out your mouth, that means it's in your heart. If it's in your heart, that means it's where your treasure lie. If it's where your treasure lie, then you're still dead. You're dead. Right? So you need the ruach to do what? Come alive. Let no communication can proceed out your mouth, but that which is good used to edifying, that you may minister grace to the hearers. And grieve not the Ruach HaKodesh of Elohim, neither be whereby you are sealed unto the day of what? Redemption. Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Hamashiach's sake has forgiven you. So this is the context. It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off, right? This is the reason why we can't remain in our feelings. I told you this before. Feelings will get you killed in this walk. Feelings will get you killed in this walk, and not by the Torah. Will get you killed and send you into the second death, right? You don't got no time for feelings. You don't. Where we at right now in this walk, where we at in this calamity that's coming, your offense is going to have you destroyed. You ever seen? It's a movie called The Walking Dead. And offense is like The Walking Dead, like somebody getting bit and they infecting somebody else. That's exactly how offense works. I'm offended, then I want you to be offended. So I'm gonna come get you, and then I'm gonna talk about you and make you offended at you, right? And then after a while, you're gonna find out that they offended, and then you're gonna be offended at us. And you're gonna get somebody else and be like, you know that Malu and Josh said something, to keep spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading. Eventually, there's gonna be a division. There's gonna be a hate between us all. Say it again? Yeah, then there's eventually a civil war. So when we're looking at this is the process of death. Because if you can't forgive your brother, you forget about the kingdom. If you can't dwell in amongst an assembly with your brother, you forget about the kingdom. Hey, shalom, family. Wood is in the house. So you forget about it. Because you still have on the old man. The old man is not dead. The thing, let me tell y'all something. The stuff I'm telling y'all is ruach and is life. There's somebody who done turn this off or swipe left or swipe down or however you swipe on YouTube. So side to side or whatever. So because these things ain't a prophecy. I'm not going through this like all this other stuff I usually go through, but then I realize that this is how you make it into the kingdom. This is it. If you can't do these little bitty, if you can't do this thing, hang it up. It's like when Mashiach said, put your hand to the plow and look back. You ain't worthy. Give it up. Because this is what these assemblies are for. These assemblies are rehearsals. The assemblies are rehearsals. How can you deal with your brother in assembly? How can you deal with your sister in assembly? That's proven whether or not you put on those garments and you're able to come into the inner court. Let's keep going. You ever seen this movie? Or heard about this book? If y'all ain't never read that book, so The Emperor's New Clothes, the old children's book, about how somebody came and told this king that there's these invisible clothes you can put on, and that everybody who can't see the clothes is stupid and dumb and unworthy or whatever. And so he goes out and he's like, oh man, so only the people that's worthy can see the clothes, even though he really has no clothes at all. So he walks around naked in front of everybody because he thinks he has clothes on, but he has no clothes on. Until finally this little kid said, hey, he's naked. And then he finally realized that he's naked because people around him won't tell him the truth and tell him that he's naked. Say it again? Afraid to offend him. But the thing about this is funny is because in the context, this is kind of like how those new garments are. Because everybody can't see those garments. So imagine this is a true story. I mean, if he really did have visible garments, everybody only people that's going to be set apart are going to be able to see it. This is the reason why a lot of y'all have already put off that old man and put on those garments. People don't know you.
Right.
They think you're naked.
They can't discern you.
They can't discern me. They still sleep. Those that the Most High is going to set apart have already been set apart. Those that are be worthy of those garments are already worthy of those garments. I'm telling you something real crazy. Some of them are already worthy of those garments and haven't been fully formed.
Come on now. They just got one pant leg on.
Right.
They stepping in there.
Right. They're getting in there. The reason being is because the Most High knows somebody's end. We don't know people's ends. We don't know time frames. We don't know where they're at.
Yes.
So we sitting in there looking at them like, oh man, they ain't gonna make it. They already been set apart. He knows those that are his. They're going to a point where they're going to be purified. They're still in the fire. They're still cooking. They're still in the oven. Right? So, but we can't discern it because we can't discern the body. But in the context, this is how we are about these new garments. We put these garments on. Everybody can't see it because everybody can't discern righteousness. Everybody can't discern the righteous. Everybody can't discern the holy and the profane. That's the reason why he called the prophets to make a what? Difference between what? The holy and the profane. But even when we point it out, it's still going to be by what? Faith. Yes. You're going to have to do what? Discern it. Let's look at this. Psalms 102, we're going to start at verse 25 to 28. Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth. The Shamayim are the works of thy hands. They going to be destroyed, if they going to perish, but thou shalt endure. All of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture, thou shalt do what? So even the Most High is going to change the earth like we have to change our garments. Like we have to put off the old man, he's going to put off the old earth. And put off the old heavens. You want to think about something deep. Why is the Most High going to destroy the heavens and the earth? Putting on a new garment out. But they shall perish, but thou shalt endure. Right? All of them shall wax old like a garment, and as the vesture thou shalt change them, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall do what? Thy children, the children of thy servants shall do what? And their seed shall be established before you, because they have to what? The same order. So just like how the Most High is going to put off the earth, and he's going to put off the heavens like an old garment, we put off the old man like an old garment, and then put on the new garments. The garments of praise, the garments of righteousness. Exodus 28, let's look at them garments though. Exodus 28 verse 2. And I can read this whole thing, but this one verse sums that whole chapter up. And thou shalt make set apart garments. Say set apart. Set apart garments for Aharon, thy brother, for two reasons. For what? So if you read down in the text, it's gonna tell you what those garments are. Of course, you know about this, the white robe, it's the ephod, the breastplate, all these different things they have to wear. But the Most High said that we think about all the different applications of why they wore this. He said the reasons was for glory and for beauty. So the whole entire reason of these garments that you're putting on is for glory and for beauty. In your mind, you think those are vain reasons, right? You would think so. Like, oh, so I'm just doing this to look good? I mean, off the top of the head, you think glory and beauty, right? You're just doing it to look fly. Whose glory and whose beauty? So the whole point of these garments is to bring glory to Yahuwah and bring in and show the beauty of Yahuwah, not your glory, and not your beauty. That's right. So they're supposed to see you, and through that they see the Most High, and he's supposed to get the glory. So when you see these garments, the garments that you put on are the garments of his praise, the garments of his glory. So now, like I told you about this dream. So in the dream, again, I'm in the midst of the classroom. I'm taking off my clothes, and I'm changing these garments, and I'm putting on older garments from the past, mantles of the past, strengths of the past. So I'm putting these things on, right? And when I woke up, I prayed. That scripture. I mean, that was on my mind. I woke up and I picked up my phone, and my phone literally was paused and highlighted the scripture on my phone. Ezekiel 42:14. And when the priests enter therein, they shall do what? Not go out of the holy place. Shalom, into the where? Outer court. Outer court, outer court, same thing. Outer court. But they shall lay their garments wherein they minister, for they are set apart, and shall put on other garments. It shall approach to those things which are the people. Marlon, you wanna speak on that real fast? Alright, because they already, Malu and Yosef already brought this out. So, but the context is this. So these garments that you have that are for glory, right? That are for beauty, they are meant to be worn, or they're going to be shown in the midst of the service. Once you come out of that function, there's another set of garments that you have to deal with the common folk. Everybody got that? 2 sets of garments. One garment is to serve in front of the Most High, because again, these are high priestly garments. Another set of garments that you deal with the common folk when you deal with the other everybody else that's in the nation, only outside of the courts. So that means that those that are worthy to have these garments have special access to the Most High. When they're before the Most High, they reflect His glory, they reflect His beauty, they reflect His authority. Go ahead.
It goes back to what you were saying in regards to there's a hierarchy in the kingdom and amongst the priestly sons and daughters of Yahuwah. Most people don't want to hear about like commoners, but the commoners that's referenced there are your own people.
That's right.
Yeah. So we have to strive to obtain the new garments that we may be held in high esteem before Yahuwah, so that we won't be, not to say considered common, but we have to understand that the commoners are amongst our own people.
That's right.
You know, so if you can't understand that in this day and in this time, then you're not striving towards the goal you should be striving for, which is putting on the garments that you won't be a commoner, because it's all determined by what you do in this day and in this time.
That's right.
Yeah, which is going to establish what garments you put on. Will you keep on the garments of the commoners, or will you put on the garments of the priest?
That's right.
The choice is yours, and it's determined in this time.
This is the reason why
My bad.
that's pretty cool. This is the reason why Mashiach talks about, he says, the levels of these things, and how he says how some people will be least in the kingdom, right? Based on what they did here. This is everything that we're doing right now is a trial period, and what we're gonna see is that those garments are garments of rulership. The garments of rulership, even in the midst of Israel. We ain't talking about ruling over the Gentiles, because that's gonna happen anyway. But ruling in the midst of Israel. Those that have these garments on are those who can carry the rod.
That's why when you brought out Zechariah 3, it says, "You shall rule my house."
That's right. That's right. That's right. So those who can put on those garments, those who can die, those who can take off those old garments, right, and put on the new, those are the ones that hold the rod.
I wanted to say we should take heed and be careful not to become envious when you see someone operating in their priestly role. When you see them going forth and you see the glory and the beauty upon them, we have to be careful. This captivity has taught us to envy and to fight and to push against one another and to try and take, from one another. And so then we're not spiritually discerning when we see the glory and the beauty on that person. We're thinking it's something to be taken or grasped or whatever, and we can disqualify ourselves like that. And I want to say, just take heed. Be careful not to do that, because Yahuwah has garments for you too, for you to wear. Not to be, coveting what your brother or sister is wearing or the role that they're operating in, because you will disqualify even your own, what you are meant to receive by operating that way. And I understand it, because this place has taught us to do that. But we have to put that away. That's the old man. We can't walk in that.
That's right. So, what's that, Mom? Right.
And then it was stolen by people that were jealous or coveting
Right.
the gift that the Most High gave them.
Right.
And when they got it to their hands, it was perverted and destroyed.
That's right.
To that point, Moshe, he had to put a veil on his face.
Right.
Because it was too grievous to the community.
Right.
And they still had too much Egypt in them.
Right.
And they had to go through that process of coming through the wilderness, and people had to be cut off, and they had to be purified.
Right.
Because that veil had to remain on his eyes. Everybody couldn't go behind the veil.
Right.
So even when we look at Yahusha, everybody didn't see him transfigure.
Right.
All the people who walked with him, they saw him after the resurrection.
Right.
But when he transfigured, it was only before a couple of them.
Right.
Because it wasn't for everybody to see at that time. So, but the thing is, so when you were talking about Yahushua praying earlier about how he was praying, if this cup should pass from me,
That's right.
what happened right after that was he looked to his brethren and they were asleep.
Right.
Even to this day, there's times where we're praying that Yahuwah would take this afflictions and stuff from us, even us who can see that there's a greater judgment and a greater proof that's coming. You know, can this prove us? But we look around and we see everybody sleeping.
That's right.
We can't go in the community acting the way we want to act and speaking the way we want to speak because we have to be wise because we're sheep amongst wolves.
Right.
So for a time, we have to walk around with a veil on our eyes. But what you're saying right here is that veil's going to have to come off soon.
That's right.
When the garments change and the common is going to be exposed to the holy.
Right.
But for now, to preserve them, because what happens, you're just going to grieve them to death.
That's right.
Kill people with that light. Exactly.
This is the last thing I'm gonna say. It's going to come a time where the priests won't have to adjust to the commoners, but the commoners will have to adjust to the priests.
Right.
They'll either have to adjust or they'll be pushed out.
Right.
Or they'll be, pushed aside. Because Yahuwah won't have his priests to have to walk around with a covering or a veil over them to dim the light.
Right.
Because Yahuwah is all about projecting the light that another may be drawn. So those who are not able to adjust to the light or adjust to the priest of Yahuwah, they'll be moved.
Right.
Room will be made for those who are willing to, who will say, hey, I see what you're doing in service of Yahuwah. I strive to do that.
Right. Right.
So that's the time we're coming to now.
And see, the thing is, if the people will humble themselves, then they can receive that same mantle. Elisha received that mantle because of his humbleness and seeking after the prophet. Not glorifying the prophet, but honoring the work that the Most High was doing in him. So he was around him and he was able to receive that mantle. Because the Most High already told Elijah, he said, you're going to give it to Elisha. But Elijah told Elisha, he says, be with me when I ascend, when the whirlwind comes. And he just happened to be there. So through his diligence, he was able to receive that. But there's a humbling and a testing that has to come along with that. So when we look at this, and let's go back to what you're saying, so this is the reason why they had two different sets of garments. So there was a certain mantle that the Most High had, that they had when they was in the presence of the Most High, and then those that wasn't in the presence of the Most High, they had to go in a different way. Right? They had to leave those garments in the temple and then go and deal with those people who don't have a connection with the Most High, who are outside of the temple, or the people that's on the outer courts. Right? So, but going back to what you just said, now how do you get to that point? How do you submit yourself? Is you have to understand this is one of the things that we have a big time problem with coming out of Christianity because of the Western mindset. So the Western mindset is that you come serve me. That's what we operate. That's what we do. So you got to come serve me. Like I need prayer. Like, okay, I'm standing here. All right, now pray for me. I'm just gonna stand here, and you're gonna snap your fingers or do whatever you do, and I'm gonna be delivered. Instead of me actually pouring myself out to the Most High in repentance and praying with me, or like basically like it's the context of the priest got to come to me and sacrifice. I'm not gonna bring the sacrifice to the priest. And so until you can do that, you're not going to get to the point, because when you're doing that, when you're coming with that, if you come in with the point, like for instance, there should never be a time we come in this time. That's why I be trying to push people for the time of worship and people like this.
Instead of pouring themselves out like a libation, they want you to be their Kool-Aid stir.
Exactly.
Stir them up. Yeah.
Because they haven't got to the point where they reverence the Most High enough to come with a sacrifice. So that's the reason why I be trying to get people, and I be like, because you can see it, and it's not that you want it to be that way, but you can see it on them, that they haven't matured to that level enough to have that reverence for the Most High, to know that when that I have a sacrifice of praise that I owe Him. Like I can't just sit back for this time period because this is my reasonable service, right? So because I'm supposed to bring that thing to the Most High, the Most High ain't supposed to bring it to me. So but that's that mindset. Now, if you can conquer that, that means that you can be broken in front of the Most High. If you can be broken in front of the Most High, then you can be molded by the Most High. So before a leg that's fractured can be healed, it's got to be broken and set, right? But if you're not willing to be broken, you're going to be walking around with a limp. And so that's kind of where we are. And these are the things that you got to overcome. So this is the reason why those that wear those garments have already been broken. This is the brand that's plucked out the fire. Remember, that's the line. That's what the Most High said about Zechariah. Isn't this the brand that was plucked out the fire? They've been through the fire. They've been through the breaking. They've been through that pain. So now they're set. They've already been molded, right? So they're able to have those garments. So what the Most High does is He has people to lead that have the same unction. So that's why He puts the rod in their hand, because the rod is for direction and correction. Because you have to die the death that you have to die the same death that you're trying to bring people out of. You have to die the same death that you're trying to bring people out of. So if you haven't died that death, how can you instruct somebody about what that death is like?
It's credibility.
Right. This is the reason why the scripture says. This is the reason why it says that He was tempted at all points. And this is why Shaul says that we don't have no high priest who don't know what those temptations are like, right? But because he was tempted at every point, he's able to do what? Have compassion. That's why what the text says. It says that some have compassion, saving others and pulling them out the fire. He's able to have that compassion because he's been at all points tempted. He's been through the same thing. He's been through the captivity. He's been through the struggle. Moshe was in the captivity. He went through the struggle, so he knew the plight of the people. So he's able to be chosen, so he picked up the rod. Everybody with me?
Yes.
So let's look at that with Revelation 11, 1 and 2. Remember, so Ezekiel 42 talks about the outer court and laying the garments and all this other stuff. So we're going to compare that with Revelations 1 and 2. And there was given to me what? And the Malachim stood saying, arise and do what? And the altar and them. So he goes and he's judging everything by the rod. By the rod. But the court, the utter court, we just see in the scripture, but the utter court of the temple leave without, right? And measure it not, because it's given to the Gentiles in the holy city. They're gonna tread it underfoot 42 months. So the outer court is for the commoners. Don't worry about that. Worry about those that are within the veil. Worry about those that are in the priesthood. Worry about those that are in the order. Measure them. Right? Judge them. See if they're worthy to wear those garments. Go ahead.
So when people see Gentiles, they automatically think that it's talking about the nations.
Right.
It's speaking in the sense of you because you've been amongst the nations.
Right.
So when we said earlier that the commoners are you, the Gentiles here are you as well.
Right.
You are the Gentiles because you've been blended in with the Gentiles via your lifestyle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So let's look at this. So we can see that when in Ezekiel prophesied about the future temple, about how we'll lead the garments. That's a precept from Levi 16, 23 to 24. Now Haran shall come to the tabernacle congregation, he shall put off the linen garments, which he put on when he went to the holy place, and shall lead them there, and shall wash his flesh in water. He's going to go through the immersion in the holy place, and put on what? His garments, and come forth, and offer a burnt offering, and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. So there was a certain garment that he had when he was in the midst, he's in the presence of the Most High. He had to take off that garment and put on another garment and then go into the people and do that sacrifice. Right? I mean, it's crazy because you can look at it almost like we hear the term, Shaul says, I've become all things to all men. So it's a different garment that he wears when he goes amongst those people. Right? So anyway, let's keep going. Let's go to Isaiah 11. We're going to read 13. So remember now, the rod was given to Yehukanan, right? To go measure those things that are within the temple, right? If we keep reading, if we talking about the text talking about how they got garments also. He gave them what? White robes, right? So he has the white robes, and then he's measuring the people that are in the temple, and he's giving the rod. The angel doesn't measure it; he measures it. He's the judge, right? So there's certain ones that are right now that the Most High in this walk are judges. The Most High is giving them the rod. They've been given the garments, right? So let's look at this. Isaiah 11 verse 1. So the rod and the robe go together. There shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch. We just read about the branch, right? Yahusha, high priest, talk about the branch, right? And the ruach shall set upon him, the ruach of wisdom. See, these are the 7 eyes of the rock that Yahusha saw. The ruach of wisdom, understanding, ruach of counsel and of might, the ruach of knowledge and of fear of Yahuwah. This we talked about people coming to the assembly and the way they present sacrifices is based on their fear. That's what it is. In the fear of Yahuwah. And he shall make them of quick understanding of the fear of Yahuwah. He shall not judge after what? Neither reprove after what? But with righteousness he shall do what? The Malachim is going to give him the rod, and he's going to go through the temple measuring everything. But with righteousness he going to judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. He shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth. And with the breath of his lips, he will slay the wicked. This is what people don't understand. If you don't understand, we're moving into a time when that's going to be evident. I'm telling y'all, we're going to move into a time where there's going to be certain people in this awakening. And if the wicked come to him a certain way, they're going to say certain words, and they're going to die. Speaking as the oracle. That's coming. That's coming. I'm telling y'all, just mark it down. It's coming. That's what the Shalakim would do. This is the reason why Kefa was able to tell Ananias and Sapphira, says the feet of those that carry out your husband are waiting you at the door. Oh, drop dead. Because he what? The rod was in his mouth, and that's what we are. Let's keep going. I'm telling y'all, these things are right around the corner. And righteousness shall be his girdle. See, the Most High is not going to give you that rod if you don't have the rock of might, wisdom, understanding, counsel, and fear. If you don't have those things, he's not going to give you that rod, because then you will be like the oppressor. I was praying earlier. That's what Most High also gave me. He says, those that love the way of the oppressor won't be secured or confirmed. I think that's what he told me. Those that love the way of the oppressor, because the oppressor also has a rod. Listen, the oppressor has a rod. He uses the rod. The thing about most of the time, if you're disciplined by the rod, then you will carry a rod. Right? Depending on what rod that is. Those that receive the rod of judgment, they become a judgment. What are you talking about? Imagine a house where there is no rod, no righteous rod in the house. There is no father in the house to discipline the child, discipline the son. A son grows to a certain age and then he rebels because of all the things that he encountered in this world. The rod of the oppressor becomes his instruction. He learns how to move. He learns how to act based on that rod. So then he becomes a rod and a judgment. This is the reason why Isaiah says, it's for my people, children of their oppressors. Right. He's carrying out the lineage or the legacy of the oppressor, and he becomes another rod. Right? So another way you can conquer that is you have to be under the rod of the Most High. His rod, his staff have to do what? Comfort you. They have to bring you comfort. They have to bring you understanding. They have to bring you direction so you can turn that thing out the way. If not, those that are judged becomes a judgment. And that's what we get what they call generational curses from. But with righteousness, he gonna judge the poor and reprove the equity of the meek of the earth, and will smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he gonna slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be his girdle of his loins, faithfulness in the girdle of his reins. The wolf shall lie with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf with the young lion, and the fatling together the young child shall lead them. The cow shall bear and the bear shall feed. The young ones shall lie down together. The lion shall eat straw like an ox. The suckling child shall play on the hole of the snake or the asp. The weaned child shall put his hand on the cockroach's den, another snake. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth should be full of the knowledge of Yahuwah as waters cover the sea. That's what my mom was talking about the other day. In that day there shall be a root of Jesse, right? Myself Jesse. Which shall stand for an ensign, for a military banner. I say military banner. Why would the root of Jesse stand for a military banner? Every kingdom has an army, and Dawid is the most famous general. Dawid is the most famous general in Israel. The only other general that's as famous is Michael, the angel, the archangel. That's the only other general that's as famous as Dawid. It's 10, and there shall be a root of Jesse that shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek. So the Gentiles going to seek after it, and the rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again. After what? The ensign of Jesse, or the setting up of Jesse, or the setting up of Yehuda. He going to shake his hand again the second time, recover his people, remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and shall gather together the dispersed of Yehuda from the four corners of the earth. The envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Yehuda shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehuda, Yehuda shall not vex Ephraim. And they will fly upon the shoulders. That's why you know it's a military banner. Y'all see this, right? They're going to do what? Fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines to the west. They shall spoil them to the east together. They're going to go destroy everybody. They shall lay hands on Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon they shall obey them. And Yahuwah shall utterly destroy the tongues of the Egyptian sea, and the mighty wind shall shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams. Men can go over there on dry land, on dry shod. There shall be a highway day for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, as it was in Israel in the day they came up out of Egypt. Now let's skip to 13. So let's look at that. Let's look at that rod. Remember, the rod is only going to be given to those who can put off the old garments and put on the righteous garments. Dwell within the temple and be a part of this order. Right? 13 verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see. Lift up the what? Banner. Remember, the banner is going to be the banner of Jesse, Yehuda. Lift up the banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice upon them, shake the hand that my people might go into the gates of the nobles. In other words, that they might return back to their priesthood, that they might return back to their rulership. I've commanded my sanctified ones, I've also called my mighty ones for my anger, them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of multitude of the mountains like a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms, of nations gathered together. Yahuwah Zabaoth must have what? That's the reason why he's called Yahuwah of hosts, because he's going to bring the hosts. He's bringing the hosts together. Who? Those that have the rod. Those that have changed their garments. Those that are clothed in white. Those that have the ruach of understanding, of might, and of power, and of wisdom, and in fear of Yahuwah. They come from a far country, even from the ends of the heaven. Even Yahuwah, the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. How ye for the day of Yahuwah's at hand, it shall come as destruction from the Almighty. There shall all hands be faint, every man's heart shall melt. They shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. Remember the lesson we talked about, Matthew 24? Matthew 24, where Yahuwah talks about this, is this scripture. That's what he's reading. They shall be afraid. It means tribulation, birth pains. And sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces going to be like flames. Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger. I'm telling y'all, the day of Yahuwah is around the corner. It's going to be cruel with wrath and fierce anger. I know people are tired of me saying this. I've been saying it for forever, but I'm telling y'all it's right around the corner. For the day of, again, 10. For the stars of heaven should not, and the constellation should not give their light. The sun should be darkened and is going forth. The moon should cause the light to shine. I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than gold, even a man more precious than the gold of Ophir. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth gonna remove out of her place in the day of the wrath of Yahuwah Sabaoth, in the day of his fierce anger, and it shall be as a chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall return every man to his own people. Why would it say that? Why would it say every man should return to his own people? What place you know has people from every nation? Right. They call this place the melting pot. People from every nation. Right, confusion by mixing. Everyone that, every flee every man to his own land. Everyone that's found in them gonna be thrust through. Everyone that is joined unto them gonna fall by the sword. The children also should be dashed into pieces. Before their eyes, the houses gonna be spoiled and their wives ravished. Behold, I stir up the Iranians. That's what it says, Medes. Behold, I stir up the Medes or the Iranians against them, which not regard silver or gold. They don't care nothing about your ministry. Because they Muslims. But anyway, neither they delight in it. Their bows shall dash the young men into pieces. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes not gonna spare their children. And Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms of the beauty of the Chaldees, actually shall be like when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It won't be inhabited. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the raven pitch their tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts shall lie there. The houses shall be full of doleful creatures. If y'all can't see this is Revelations also. You know when it says the Revelation is gonna be what? That Babylon gonna be the cage of every hateful and unclean bird. That means that's a reference for demons. So it's saying that this place is gonna be a holding cell for demonic spirits. The reason why I'm saying y'all watch this stuff on TV, Bird Box. The cage of every unclean and hateful bird. A bird box. Quiet Place? I ain't seen that one. So, but if you see that, what happens is that all of a sudden these people just wig out and start killing each other and killing themselves. And anybody that see each other, they would just go kill themselves. But look through the scripture and see how many times that happens in scriptures. That happened before, multiple times. That the nations that held his people captive, the Most High would just make them kill themselves. That's what the Valley of Jehoshaphat is. The Valley of Jehoshaphat. They went through and they came in with praise and worship, and the Most High made them all kill the enemies, kill each other. Bird Box.
That's right. We got to get our worship right.
She prophesied. I didn't catch that one. Yeah. Bird Box. This stuff I'm telling y'all, it's right around the corner, y'all. It should never be inhabited, neither shall it dwell from generation to generation, neither shall the raven pitch there. But wild beasts shall lie there, the houses shall be full of doleful creatures, the owl shall dwell there, the satyr shall dance there. A satyr is a goat demon. It's a Baphomet. You might know about Baphomets and quote-unquote Illuminati. That's where they come from. And wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, dragons in their pleasant places. The time is near to come. Her days won't be prolonged. Her days are going to be shortened. That's where we at. So how you going to do this? How you going to escape this? Let's look at this. Psalms 132, 13 and 18 through 18. For Yahuwah has chosen Zion. Remember it says the root of Jesse, right? Zion, Jerusalem, Jesse, Dawid, Yehuda. For Yahuwah has chosen Zion. He had desired it for his habitation. This is the rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provision. I will satisfy the poor with bread. I will clothe her priests with salvation. And her saints shall shout aloud for a what? So that's what you see every Shabbat. That's what we doing. Then people see it and then they say it's Pentecostalism in church. Because it'll be a rod against you. But we're right here, right now. See, you can't. In order for you to do that, then you have to do it now. In order for you to be a priest then, you got to be a priest now. In order for you to be set apart then, you got to be set apart now. In order for you to wear the garments then, you got to wear the garments now. You have to be this is a rehearsal. This is a solemn assembly. That's right. That's right.
They're where they are shouting aloud for joy.
Say it again.
Well, he says, there will I make the horn of David to bud.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to make the horn of David to bud somewhere where they're not shouting aloud for the joy
That's right.
of Yahuwah, somewhere where the priests are not clothed in salvation.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's kind of like...
Did you read what I sent you?
I did, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Go ahead.
So, I was praying and meditating, and Yahuwah brought something to remembrance. The prophecy from Genesis, and it was concerning the fourth generation.
Right. Yeah.
And it's literally what you're describing right now. So it's hard to put it into words because it's like he's established his order in the earth,
right?
And it's gonna come to fruition, and he showed it in pieces time and time again. So in Genesis 15, I'm gonna turn it real quick. Genesis chapter 15. This is where we're talking about the 400-year prophecy. Again, it's the same prophecy because then it says after the 400 years, then it goes into the fourth generation.
Right.
We know that Yehuda was the fourth son.
Right.
Okay. And Yehuda is it comes from the word Yada, and it's which means a thanksgiving to send forth. Specifically, it's an action of bringing something to the door.
Right.
Okay. And so in verse, I'm gonna go down to Genesis 15 and 15, I'll say. It says, "As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace, and you shall be buried in good old age. Then in the fourth generation," this is after it's talking about the 400 years.
Right.
"Then in the fourth generation, they shall return here, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete." And that's been like a subject of contention because it's like, what's the fourth generation?
Right.
We're talking about 400 years because it was 430 years from this promise when our ancestors were taken out of Mizraim. We know he had several sons, and it's like, then you start looking at the moms. There's all this confusion about what that means for the fourth generation. But when you look at Leviticus 19, it starts talking about how you deal with the land and about how, because we briefly brought it up before when we were talking about the priesthood,
right?
And the order, how it goes by threes. And then something happens on the fourth, something with the fifth, and then we go all the way to the eighth, where we see that's infinity.
Right.
Melchizedek, that's forever. So Leviticus 19 is, man, this really tripped me out when I saw this. And again, like you were saying, this stuff, it's not like I was studying. I've read these things before, but I was praying, and then it was opened up.
Right.
So like all the precepts just came. So in Leviticus 19:23, it says, "When you enter into the land and plant all kinds of trees for food, then you shall count their fruit as forbidden." Or uncircumcised is what the word is.
Right.
So for the first 3 years, all the fruit of the things that you planted are uncircumcised. And then it says 3 years that shall be forbidden to you, and you shall not eat it. But in the fourth year,
right,
in the fourth generation,
right,
it shall be holy and offering of praise to Yahuwah.
Right.
So I was like looking up that word praise, because I was like, oh, is that Yada?
Right.
And then I looked it up, and the word is halalim. As in hallelujah.
Right.
As in praise and worship.
Right.
As in singing. It's saying in the fourth generation, a whole burnt offering.
Right.
All of it.
Right.
And then it says in the fifth, you shall eat of it. In the fifth year, you'll eat of it. And then it stops. So, okay, it says, and in the fifth year, you're going to eat of its fruit, and that it may increase yield for you. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Then it starts going into all these statutes and commandments.
Right.
It stops talking about the years right there for like 5 chapters.
Right.
Then you go to chapter 25, and it picks up where you start talking about the 6th year. Then it says in chapter 25, verse 2, it says, "Speak to your sons, Yashrael, and say to them, when you come into the land which I shall give you, the land shall have a Shabbat."
Right.
That's the 7th year. Right? So it says, 6 years you shall sow in the field, and the 6 years you shall prune the vineyards and gather all its crops. But during the 7th year, the land shall have a Shabbat. The Shabbat will be unto Yahuwah, and you shall not sow the field or prune your vineyard. Hold on one second. I'm going to skip down to verse... What verse is that? 18. So it's established that the land's going to have a Shabbat. And it says, in 18 it says, "You shall observe my statutes and keep my judgments." Everything that was described between chapter 19 and chapter 25.
Right.
"And you shall carry them out that you may live securely in the land. And the land will yield its produce, that you can eat its fill and live securely. But if you say, what are we going to eat in the 7th year, and do not sow, if we're not sowing or gathering any crops, then I will order." Remember, when we were talking about the years, it stopped at the 5th year, and then it went into the statutes and commandments.
Right.
After you've eaten of this thing, now you have to produce spiritual fruit.
Right.
Keep the commandments. And then, so now it's saying, in the 6th year, then I will order my blessing for you in the 6th year, that it will bring forth crop for 3 years.
Right.
So that's going to cover you in the 6th year, the 7th year, and the 8th year.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, when you were sowing in the 8th year, you can eat the old things from the crops, that even eating the old until the 9th year when the crop comes. So when the 9th comes, that's going to be a whole new thing.
Right.
So what we're seeing is the first 3 is you don't touch it. The 4th is a whole burnt offering.
Right.
Okay? And then the 5th, you eat of it. And then when you eat of it, and then you keep the commandments that came with it. The manna in the wilderness, each day it came with instructions.
Right.
So they weren't eating the manna, they were eating the instructions.
Right.
And those who just ate the manna, they died.
Right.
They didn't produce spiritual fruit from it.
Right.
They only what do you produce when you eat something physically?
Right.
Doo-doo.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's what Shaul even said that. I count everything as
Dung. Right.
Because he's saying before I was just eating the carnal food. I wasn't taking the spiritual food.
Right.
And then when you take in the spiritual food, it'll show in your fruits. And then he's talking about the fruits here in Leviticus.
Mm-hmm.
In the 4th year, your fruits is going to be a whole burnt offering.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th is Yehuda.
Right.
Yehuda will be Yahusha was the 4th. He was the son of Dawid.
Right.
Who was the whole burnt offering. And then he poured out into the Shalakim. They were the 5th. We're all eating off of their testimony.
Right.
And we can eat off their testimony carnally and only produce doo-doo.
Right.
Or right now we're producing spiritual fruit.
Right.
From their testimony. And now because a double portion has come from that testimony.
Right.
And that's going to secure us when the manna stops.
Right, right.
And then that's going to secure us in the day that we're in the 7th day that we're about to enter into, the 7th year, the Shabbat.
Right.
And then even into 8, Melchizedek.
Right.
And then what's going to happen is people are going to have to come to you for the teaching. They're going to have to come to you for the manna.
Right.
Just like our ancestors had to go to Moshe.
Right.
Because everybody can't go before the presence of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a changing of the Garbs.
Right.
It was Moshe at a time. Even Dawid. Even prophets.
Right.
HaMashiach. The Shalakim. And then who was going to be the harvest that came from the Shalakim.
Right.
That's what we're looking at right now. And that harvest, Yahusha said to the Shalakim, greater things than these you shall do.
Right, exactly.
So how much more to us?
We're like trying to get our air.
Like you said today, this stuff is really hard. It's hard to even form the words. Like I couldn't even when I texted you, I was like, I don't really even know how to say this.
Right.
I just wrote down some precepts that I can organize in front of my face so I can look at it. And I was like, this makes sense. This is the order that's been established. This is what he was talking about in Genesis 15. And then he goes on in Jeremiah, he says, I make and establish my covenant with the sun. As long as the sun's going up and down, then I'm going to perfect Yehuda.
Right. Because that's this reason why. Basically, what you're saying is that looking at the fourth. The fourth is the budding of the rod, right? Which is going by the context of you saying about that fourth year is a Thanksgiving, which Yehuda is Thanksgiving, right?
I'm sorry. Hold on, real quick. I forgot this point to connect the Yehuda and the Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So Yehuda means it means to go forth to shoot something out, to cast out an offering.
Mm-hmm.
The offering that's being cast out is the Halloween.
Right.
That's what the scripture's showing us.
Right.
And it's going to be Yehuda, the fourth, who's going to bring this Halloween.
Right.
And that's going to sustain into infinity.
Right.
That's go ahead.
Right. So because the only way you can subdue the nations is through that praise. Right, because that's how they used to do warfare. They sent out the priest out first, and they would do praise and bring the wrath upon the enemies. So that's the setting of the host. But that's the reason why the ensign is Yehuda. He's the captain of the host.
Because he ate of the bread of the priest.
Right.
He ate the Torah.
Right.
I used to always wonder, how is the Torah life? Like I would just be like, you know how people say Torah is life, right? And I'd be like, but how is the Torah life? Like I would just be stumped. But you just outlined the plan of salvation out of Leviticus.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Because he set in motion the order and he explained it to us through seed time and harvest.
Right.
And so now it's discerning the seasons, like where we are in the process of seed time and harvest. And so if you're despising praise,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble. Because you're not discerning where we are in seed time and harvest. You're not being part of the solution. You're not being part of the way he plans to redeem the earth. Right.
This go back to what y'all saying last time about what the words you brought out about when we come together in praise, and the Most High is He's inspecting the praise,
Right.
because you're qualifying yourself through all that by the offering that you bring.
27, what was the scripture?
27:21.
And it's about the
The silver is for refiner's pot, gold is for furnace. You are
Perfected.
So a man is perfected or proven by his praise.
Say it again on the mic, you mind?
Silver is for refiner's pot, gold is for refiner's fire. So a man is tried, proven, or proven by his praise.
Yeah. So and this is the reason. But again, we look at the context, the Valley of Yahuwah Shaphat, right? So, which is the context people consider to be Armageddon. Anytime they talk about Armageddon, they really talking about the Valley of Yahushaphat, right? So within the midst of that, it was what? It was Yehuda bringing forth a praise through the priests that made the nations fight against themselves and slaughter, and through that they gained what? Great wealth. They go back to Genesis 15 about them coming out of the judgment with what? Great wealth. And it also goes back to the iniquity of the Amorites, because what did the Amorites do? The Amorites, they lived in the land. They basically were imposters, just like how the Ashkenazis are, who are living in the land of Jerusalem, them and the Jebusites, right? So they had to get ran out. But so it's the same when you talk about the iniquity of the Amorites, and so it's about the Amorites, it's their iniquity, the things they did. It's not full yet, it's not done yet, right? When you think about the Amorites, you think about the Malachim that came down, because the Malachim made oaths and had children by the Amorites that were famous and renowned in the earth, going back to King Og, right? But it was our ancestors, and specifically Yehuda, who ran out the Amorites. So it's this whole thing happening all over again. But going back to the four, those that had the rod, which is the rod of what? Jesse. was the ability to give forth that praise, to be able to summon the Most High, because Yahuwah goes up with a shout. The Hallelujah, right? So, but again, everybody in the awakening, that's the reason why it's only a few, because everybody in the awakening don't get that. The people in the awakening will go beat their chest and say they Judah, and then they'll see us doing that and despise it.
They don't understand because it's not a spirit, it's a ruachal matter.
Yeah, it's a ruachal matter. That's right.
They don't understand that somehow Yahuwah is subduing the nations through your praise. We can't see that with our eye, but somehow he's doing that.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a fact. That's exactly.
And what I think Yosef was touching on in regards to the fourth. Yosef. Yosef, what was that verse you were saying Hallelujah is in? I mean, just the scripture. You don't have to go. Just
Leviticus 19.
And you were saying Hallelujah is, define it?
Praise and worship.
Praise and worship. So when you think of Yahudah or Yada, like he was saying, the breakdown of Yada means to cast forth something. So when he was saying praise or worship for Hallelujah, you have to discern which season we are in. Mashiach said you can look up to the sky and understand it's going to rain, but you can't discern the times. The unique praise that's being brought out in this time that everyone is witnessing, that they can't comprehend, that many can't comprehend, is a telltale sign that we are the fourth generation.
That's right.
Because Yahudah, which is the root word Yada, they are casting forth the unique Hallelujah.
Right.
The praise of worship. So it's literally showing you that we are that fourth generation right now by just simply praising and worshiping and the things that we do on a weekly basis.
And see, I realized that Dawid he prophesied it. Dawid said it'd be a generation from the west that would do that. They'll be the ones to show forth the praises of the Most High. So that's even more proof, again, of who we are and that the fact that we are Yehuda. But through the process of all this, it's going to establish the ensign. Right? It's going to be the thing that even the Northern Kingdom look towards. They're going to see that once it's established in the earth. Because right now, people don't believe the report.
Right.
Who has?
Believe Yahuwah's report.
They don't believe the report out. Right. So when it's established, when this matter is established in the earth, then they'll see the ensign. They will understand it. Because somebody asked me, say, "What did they see the ensign?" That's the ensign. That's the reason why salvation is of who? The Yahudim.
This is literally the prequel to the ensign.
Right.
The praise and worship you see on a weekly basis. It's the prequel to the ensign being set up.
and that's what gathers the host. The hosts are mustered to do that specific thing. But they all line up under the banner. But it's the ride of Jesse. That's the warfare. That's how we do it. That's how we affect. Because whatever you bind in heaven gonna be bound in earth. Like Ma said, that's how we do it. It's through war. We call it warfare worship. But right.
But and I keep on.
Something that Most High gave me maybe a year or so ago about our worship is our warfare,
right?
How this is going to bring in the pain or whatever. But people are so caught up, and I see a lot of brews are caught up in the whole worship thing. Oh, we're trying to bring the church into the assemblies and all that, and they make no sense because the way the Western worship was not the way they do now.
Right.
We bought the way everything is with the praise and worship and all that. We bought that.
Right.
That's all comes from where we were.
Right.
They used to do the Gregorian chants, if you know what.
Right. Yeah.
They used to do all these different things, all these different other vocal movements.
Right.
But we bought in, we bought in, the actual, vibration of the heavens. You know what I mean? When we can, and everyone around the world now imitates what we bought in.
Right.
So for people to say that, we're trying to imitate the church.
Right.
No. The church, we took it to the church. Mm-hmm. We're just bringing it back home.
Right.
And now we need to understand that not only are we supposed to bring it home, we need to bring it in the forefront because that's what's going to lead us. Go ahead of us. It's gonna. This was. Yeah, because I mean, if we don't have the praise and the worship, and if we don't really get in it, like when I'm leading praise and worship, I'm like always telling people, this ain't a spectator sport.
Right.
I'm a worshiper.
Right.
I'm just gonna worship. All I'm doing is inviting you in.
Right.
I'm inviting you to come along with me.
Right.
If you can't do that, I mean, why are you here?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. We all, because I know you men, once y'all get it, once it falls on, I know once it falls on the men and the men really, really get it and stop with this holding back, it's a wrap. It's
right.
a wrap.
Right.
It's a real wrap.
Right.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
This is why what Ak is saying in regards to the changing of the garb. The changing of the garb and the putting on the mantles of old is so important, because you have to understand how important praise and worship was from a battle aspect. Scripture talks about when the children of Israel used to praise and worship before the battle, it would literally say that the ruach of the enemy would leave them.
Right.
So literally the enemy would die before a sword was even swung. The enemy would die. If a person dies in ruach and he doesn't have the ability to do anything physically, all hope is lost. So for us to reject praise and worship, especially as men, it means that you're already conceding the battle. Because that's how we won the battle of old.
That's right.
Via praise and worship.
How come we understand that when we're in the football locker room?
Yeah.
We understand that in the football locker room. I remember watching my son play high school football, and before they would start the game, when they would just be doing their warm-ups, they would be doing everything they could to intimidate the other side with the noises and the screams and the patting each other and the circle and all this in the circle and all that, right? And they would be exactly. Exactly. So men understand the power of that.
Right.
They do. There's like a missing connector piece or something. Go ahead.
And what it boils down to is, and this is one thing I thankfully giving Yahuwah thanks for that removed from me, is me not caring what I look like to the next man.
Right. That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
That's why most men don't praise and worship. They'll be peeking out the side of their eye. If I move too much to the left, if I jump too high, if I get too low and give too much praise to Yahuwah, then this next guy is going to think I'm soft. Nah, righteous men, if they see a man worshiping, then it takes them back to the depiction of Dawid. Dawid wasn't weak, but he was the greatest worshiper and probably in the history of Israel.
That's right.
So that's the mindset we should have as men, is that we should be or put on the mantle of Dawid even when it comes to praise and worship.
That's right.
Because, like you said, he's the greatest general in the history of Israel, outside of Mikael, until Yahusha comes, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we should be taking on that mantle of Dawid in regards to praise and worship, because that's what we should model ourselves after, especially if we want to win the battle in the coming days.
Look, let me tell you something. These people because I see it's these same people. Well, I like this and kind of like the same people. Then they going to see secular artists. And giving all their energy to that person. Then I realize if you watch some of these secular artists, they get up on the stage, and I heard them say, "Give me your energy." Yeah, they're taking that energy. Then I realize that there's we don't deal in vibrations and energy, right? Like witches do, right? But it's a vibration and energy that gives off when you do that kind of thing. So that's the reason why, like I said, go study that stuff. You'll see that. These artists, they'll even say that. They will like, "Give me your energy," and try to get the crowd to charge them supernaturally through vibration, through voices. So when you're looking at this, you gotta understand what we're dealing with, man. What this really is about. But this is the reason why you can't say, like, this is the reason why the text says that the Most High sent a word into Israel, to Jacob, but it lighted on Israel. Because everybody's not going to get this. Everybody's not going to discern this. And people are going to they're going to receive their portion based on that. This is the reason why there's a certain group of people that can wear the garments and who can't. This is the reason why there's two different sets of garments. For those that go out amongst the common and those that dwell in the presence of the Most High. Because those people are the ones who bear the rod. And there's a rod in their mouth. Through their praise, they're able to destroy the spiritual realm. When you bind in heaven, you bind on earth.
That's the changing of the garb. You can't change your garb or your garments without being a worshiper, without being a praiser.
Right.
You can't have a changing of the guard without that changing of the mentality.
That's right. That's right. And again, 16. I will clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. There I will make, when that happens, while they're doing it, I'm going to make the horn of Dawid to bud. I have ordained a lamp for mine anointed. This is the light right here. This is the understanding. His enemies, I'm going to clothe them with shame. But upon himself, his crown shall flourish. This is the reason why if you read on down to your, in Zechariah, we go back, then they take the gold and silver and they make a crown and put it on Yahushua the high priest. Right? Because there's a crown that comes with it, because Yehuda is a king. Right? He rules. This is the reason why he has to be saved first. He's going to be saved first because of this praise, because of this warfare that comes out. Right? But he has to set the standard. He has to set up the ensign.
The Ruach is telling me right now that part of the captivity and the church, through the stealing of your identity and then having you emulate the way they behave in that stiff manner, was to steal your weapon.
Go ahead,
That is your secret weapon, is your praise and your worship.
Right.
And so they taught you to not do that.
Right. You're right. You're right.
Wow. I gotta read this. This is Psalm 47. Is it okay?
Go ahead, Mom.
Okay. Oh, clap your hands, all ye people. Shout unto Yahuwah with the voice of triumph. For Yahuwah Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. He shall subdue the people under us, and the nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob, whom he loved. Selah. Yahuwah is gone up with a shout, the Lord with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to Yahuwah. Sing praises. When Yahuwah says something 3 times, listen. Sing praises to Yahuwah. Sing praises. Sing praises unto our King. One more time. Sing praises. That's 4. For Yahuwah is the King of all the earth. Sing ye praises with understanding. Yahuwah reigneth over the heathen. Yahuwah sitteth upon the throne of his holiness. The princes of the people are gathered together, even the people of even the people of the God of Abraham, or the El of Abraham. For the shields of the earth belong unto Yahuwah. Listen, in ancient times, when you conquered an enemy, you took their shields.
That's right.
He's telling us he will take the shields of the people of the earth when we praise him.
Hallelujah.
We have that strength because he inhabits the praises of his people.
That's right.
And with people, I'm a kindergartner when it comes to all this and everything, but this is how I look at it. It's like, when I saw the joy of the Lord is my strength, I was like, okay. But then I saw, in his presence is fullness of joy. I was like, wait, okay, so in his presence is fullness of joy, and that's where I get my strength. Okay. Wow, get in his presence. He inhabits the praises of the people. I was like, well, hey, I could do that. I was through then. I knew my place.
Right.
I got my place. I mean, so I just think, even in our private time, I don't care. I get a parking space in the parking lot, I'm praising him.
That's right.
Whatever it is, those little things and everything, I just let them know. Sometimes I just spend time just telling them how great the little things. I'm not getting that much. I don't have as much gray hair as everybody else. Thank you, Father. I don't care what it is, because we just need to give him the praise, because that's what it's going to draw him in to us even more.
Right.
Oh my God, people don't understand the strength of our praise.
Hallelujah. So.
This all lines up because before a battle, the praise goes forth. As priest, it was a continual thing. Your praise is your offering as a priest. As I was studying in the Word today, the Most High had me in Psalms 50. And this is what brings forth the beauty of Yahuwah. The fact that you can give him a grateful, everything that we go through our walk, you can still praise him.
Right.
That's what allows his beauty to rest on you. So I just want to read a piece of Psalms 50 to give the example of what our praise is done. It is an offering.
That's right.
It is you showing and paying your dues as a priest. As a priesthood, it went on 24 hours a day.
That's right.
So you should be giving praises throughout your day. I'm going to Psalms 50. I'm just highlight a few verses. Psalms 50 and 2, it says, out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Yahuwah have shined.
That's right.
I'm going to skip on over to, because he was saying all these sacrifices, these are not things that he wanted. He never wanted blood. He never wanted for these things. He said, if I was hungry, would I tell thee? He said, for the world is mine. Verse 14, it says, offer unto Yahuwah thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in a day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. I'm going to read this through because it's a message. 16, it says, but unto the wicked, Yahuwah said, what have thou to do, declare my statutes, and that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instructions, and cast away my words behind thee? When thou sawest a thief, then thou consented with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. These things have thou done, and I kept silent. Though the thought is that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget Yahuwah, lest I tear you to pieces. There be none to deliver. Whosoever offereth praises glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright, will I show salvation of Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
So the whole thing is, you should be getting to the praise. You are putting those things behind you. You are taking off those grave clothes. Everything that you've been for, you had to die daily. Take off the grave clothes and put on the priestly garments and give the praise and move forward to the next step, or else you be torn to pieces.
That's right. Because look, like I say, when we're looking at this whole thing, when you understanding what that rod is, right? Then that's the reason why we're so skilled at it. Nobody can praise like us. Nobody can. I remember when I was at I was pastoring this other church, and back in the day, I was pastoring this church, and it's this guy that was there, and he kind of like an old Roddy Piper. There's no way I can explain him. This is a white guy, and he's supposed to be a prophet, and he saw me, and he pulled me to the side at this other person's event, and he said, he's real country. He said, let me tell you something, man. I was about to be like, okay, brother. He's like, can't nobody praise like them black people, man. He said, man, we can praise, but not like y'all. Something special about y'all, man. And so I'm telling y'all something special. He's like, because he was like this respected dude in all these the circles or whatnot. But it's different. It's different. Our voices are different. We're weapons. This reason why he called us his battle axes and weapons of war. So again, in this context, you have to understand this. But it's a whole movement. It's an upswell in Israel about intelligence. Right? And people look at it's funny because they call it intelligence, but when the scripture that I read, when it says praise with understanding, that word is sakal, it means intelligence. So it's the same word that's used in the judgment of Babylon in Jeremiah 50, when it talks about how the arrows will be intelligent. In other words, they're gonna be skillful in destruction, smart weapons. Right. So we honor these things, and that's what I'm saying. Once you get to that point, when you understand these things that we're talking about, it ain't about precepts no more. Precepts can give you understanding, right? Because the text tells us about how precepts give us understanding, they are light and all that kind of stuff. So that's good and great. But what's going to happen is that the precept is going to be activated in you. The purpose of the precept is going to be in you, and then you're going to be activated. You're going to be activated, and you're going to move in your purpose. And through that, you're going to be able to do things without the text. Then you become a prophet. That's what a prophet does. A prophet gets direct. The prophet doesn't, you don't become a prophet by reading text. the text is loaded to your mind and you speak it. That's why they're prophets, right? And the bees, that's what they do. So you become that because you activated in that. So again, let's keep going. Let's wrap this up for tonight. Let's go Isaiah 22. Brother, let me tell you something. Man, there's something about them black people, man. Nobody can praise like them. I said, okay, man. I said, that's true, but okay. Isaiah 22, because he inhabits the praise of his people. 22, I'm going to start at verse 20. So let's look at that. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him. By the way, when you look at this, the context is the name, what those names mean. Eliakim means Elohim raises up, and Hilkiah means Yahuwah's portion, or his portion is Yahuwah. I will clothe him with my robe. I will strengthen him in his girdle. I will commit my government into his hands. All right? He shall be a father to the inhabitants of who? And to the house of Yehuda. And the key of the house of Dawid, when we talk about the key of Dawid in the past, I will lay upon his shoulder. So he shall, and none shall shut, and he shall, and none shall open. He's going to be able to bind things in the heaven as in earth, and vice versa. And I will fasten him as a tent peg, vav, tent peg, nail, in a sure place. He shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. That's what we're going to be. And they shall hang upon him all the glory, because remember, he's taking off the garments. Now, because the garments, the new garments put on for what? For glory and beauty. And they shall hang upon him the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, all vessels of small quantity, from the vessels of cups, even for the vessels of flagons, all the gold and silver. And that day saith Yahuwah Sabaoth, shall the nail that is fastened in the sure place shall be removed and cut down, to my people that I think they're short. And the burden that was upon it shall be cut off, for Yahuwah has spoken it. So we see in this context of you being established in the house of Yahuwah. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah 1. Now, if y'all was at the prayer meeting, y'all already understood this. But this is what the Most High told you. This is, so once you've done that, once you put on them garments, if you're able to hold the rod, right, you become a weapon. And that weapon is through your praise, and it's also because you're set apart. So you have a certain garment that you're able to wear. These white linen that you're able to serve before the Most High. You're able to be in his presence, and then you're able to go out and do work amongst the people. Jeremiah 1. This is what the Most High told me. And this is about every Israelite. This is what they're called to be. The words of Yirmiyahu, the son of Hilkiah. And we just read about Hilkiah, right? The priests that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahuwah came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Yehuda, in the 13th year of his reign. And it came to pass that Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, the king of Yehuda, to the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, the king of Yehuda, to the carrying away of Jerusalem into the 5th month. 5th floor. Then the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Behold, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. These are the ones, remember he said he sent a word into Yaakov, but it lighted upon who? Israel. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou came forth out of the womb, I set thee apart. And I ordained thee, what? Look, y'all are the children of the prophets. That's what the text says. You're the children of the prophets. So before he was born, he ordained you to do this one thing. Then said Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I can't speak, I'm a child. This is what we do. We doubt ourselves. I was talking about this the other day. We doubt ourselves. But Yahuwah said unto me, say not I'm a child. Don't say that no more. For thou shalt go to all that I send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces. Be not afraid of their faces, for I'm with thee to deliver thee, saith Yahuwah. Then Yahuwah put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And Yahuwah said unto me, behold, I put words in the mouth. Remember, was it Daniel that had a coal put on his mouth? Yeah. Right? Same thing, the purging of your mouth, changing your speech. So he's saying, stop saying that you're not that. Stop saying that you're not his battle axes and weapons of war. Change your speech, change your dialect. Stop letting corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. See, I have this day yet set thee over what? You've been set over the nations. Ma just read it. Yahuwah, clap your hands on you people. Rejoice for the, Not rejoice, that's another scripture. That's two scriptures put together. But then he goes on and says what? He says he's put the nation, he subdued the nations what? Under your feet. For I set thee this day over the nations, over the kingdoms, to do what? To root out, to pull down, and to destroy. Right. Rise for the killer, saying all that. So this is where we at. This is what the Most High has called you for, to overthrow. Right? To set, to root out, to pull down, and to destroy, to throw down, to build, and to plant. So you are supposed to do all those things. You're supposed to be able to tear down kingdoms, tear down strongholds. But all this is through what? It's through that praise. Right? Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me saying, Yahweh, what seest thou? And I said, the rod of an almond tree. The rod of almond tree. So Yahweh was what? He was able to change those garments. The reason why he's the weeping prophet. He wept for the nations, right? He took off those dirty garments. He put on righteous garments. His mouth was purged, right? He was sent out to do it, tear down and pull down. So he was able to do it. Hold the rod. What is the almond tree? The rod of the almond tree? That's Aaron's rod. The rod that budded, the rod that brought forth fruit. What is the almond tree? The almond tree is the first tree out of the winter, right? Those that sustain, that's Yehuda, the first fruits, right? So he see the saying. Then I said unto me, 12. Then he said, Yehuda said unto me, thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my word to perform it. And the word of Yehuda came unto me the second time, say, what seest thou? And he said, a seething pot. That's me, a smoking pot, or a pot that's about to boil over. That's where we at right now. Y'all know the pot's about to boil over. I see the pot in the face toward us toward the north. It is the same thing right now. Russia. Right? Then Yahuwah said unto me, out of the north, an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdom of the north, saith Yahuwah, and they shall come, and they shall set everyone is thrown, entering in the gates of Jerusalem, against all the walls thereof, round about, against all the cities thereof. I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, for they have forsaken me. They have burned incense to other Elohims, they have worshipped the works of their own hands. Thou therefore gird up thy loins, arise, and speak to them all that I commanded thee, and be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound thee before them. For behold, I have made thee this day a defense city and an iron pillar. Who? You're my Yahweh. So even in the captivity, he's the defense city. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Yahweh himself is a defense city amongst them. He's become a sanctuary in the midst of the captivity. For behold, I made thee a defense city and an iron pillar. A iron rod? A rod of iron. He sees the rod that's bearing fruit. The Most High says, I made you a rod of iron. Iron pillar, a brazen walls against the whole land. So this is the reason why, again, remember there's a separation? He's a wall of separation amongst his own people. Some of y'all are a wall of separation amongst your own people. You have certain garments that you put on when you go in the presence of the Most High. You have to take those off and put on common garments to deal with everybody else.
You be trying not to grieve them, you grieve them.
Exactly. Because the Most High have already put the glory and the beauty upon you. You're able to be in his presence. Right? But you are a wall in the fence city in Israel. This is the reason why a lot of people don't like me, for that reason. Don't care. I told you, Most High called me to say hard sayings. That's what my job is in Israel. So that's what I do. If you're an iron pillar in a brazen wall, that means you're hard to people. You're something that somebody don't want to deal with. Something that blocks things off. Against the whole wall of the land, against the kings of Yehuda, against the princes, all the people that's of esteem, people that people look to, people that people think are special. Yahweh is a wall to them. He's a tenth wall to them, right?
Yeah, that's the word dread. It's just cat.
Right, right.
When they look at you, they just see a wall. It's dreadful to them.
You're right. Exactly. Against the priests thereof, against the people of the land, they shall fight against thee. Like Ma said, they gonna covet what you are and what you do. and they're going to try to attack you. They're going to turn and rend you, right? Because you've been set apart. They did it to everybody. Moshe had the veil, right? He was able to go into the Most High. So what? The elders, like you see right here, the chief people came against him to cut him off. He was a wall, a brazen wall. He was a rod of iron in Israel. And they shall fight against thee, but they shall not prevail. For I am with thee, saith Yahuwah, to deliver thee. Now let's wrap this up. Let's go to Psalms 2. Let's look at that. So if you wear the garments, that means you can wield not only the rod that bear fruit, but a rod of iron.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Something explosive just hit me. I read a book in the past, and it's called The Life of St. Columba. He lived from 521 AD to 597 AD, and he did these miracles of healing and this and that. And I remember reading about him, and it said that he prayed without ceasing, right? And if you look at what Dawid did in Psalms 55:17, he says he prayed morning, noon, and night, and you know what he could do.
Right.
And if you look at Shaul in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17, he prayed without ceasing, and they both had the same powers.
Right.
So they don't want you to pray without ceasing.
Right.
They don't want you to praise.
Right.
Because that's the stripping of your power.
Right. That's right. That's right, huh?
So there has to be the prayer without ceasing. Right. There has to be the praise, and then you're going to take that mantle.
Right. Hallelujah. You're right. That's why Yirmiyahu said, call for the wailing women.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Psalms 2 verse 1. Why do the heathen rage? Why do people imagine vain things? The kings of the earth set themselves and rulers take counsel together against Yahuwah. They can't stand Yahuwah and his people, his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and let us cast their cords away from us. That's what Yaquab is saying. How do we stop them from having rulership? How do we cut them off? Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. You have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. It keeps going back to Jerusalem. It keeps going back to Zion. It keeps going back to Yehuda. Set my hill upon Zion. I will declare the decree, saith Yahuwah. And he said unto me, thou art my son. This day I've begotten thee. We know that's what the Most High told who? Yahushua. Ask of me, and I'm going to give you the heathen for an inheritance. You're gonna rule over them. In the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with what? So Yirmiyahu was there to break the people. Was he not a pillar of iron and a brazen wall? Did that win his job? Because there has to be judges in Israel. And they're judged, listen, by the rod of their mouth. Right? They don't judge till what? We read in Isaiah 11. By their own sight or their understanding of, by their hearing, but they judge by the righteousness of the Most High. But the rod is in their mouth. It's the words they speak that judge the nation. That's why they try to kill Yirmiyahu. Because he was a rod, he had a rod of iron in his mouth. Everything that he spoke against the nation had to come to pass. Because he was set apart for that function. So the context was kill the people. And every righteous prophet of people done that. That's the reason why we're known for killing the prophets.
That's why corrupt communication hinders you from doing that.
You're right, because just like Yirmiyahu, your mouth has to be purged. Right? The Most High has a cleanse that, because there's a power in it. If you're able to wear the garments, if you're able to hold the rod, then the Most High gives you that power, but that power comes with great responsibility. Where we at? 8. I will ask of me, I'm going to give the heathen for the inheritance, for the uttermost parts of the earth for the possession. I will break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Be not therefore, O ye kings. Be wise not therefore, O ye what? Now he calling you kings. Be instructed, O what? You the judges, you the kings, you the gates of the earth. Serve Yahuwah with fear, rejoice and trembling. Kiss the Son. Better give respect to Yahushua. Put some respect on his name, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way. But when his wrath is kindled, just a little bit. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. Last scripture. So let's look at that. Revelation 2, verse 25 to 29. But they which have already, Revelation 2, verse 25 to 29. But that which ye have heard have already hold fast till I come. This is Yahushua talking. And he that overcometh and keep my works to him will I give what? He shall rule them with what? He's going to become Yirmiyahu. He's going to put on those old garments. Remember I told you in the dream I was putting on the older garments, taking off mine, putting on the mantles. He's going to put on the mantles of the old. He's going to put on Yirmiyahu. He's going to put on Elisha. He's going to put on Elijah. He's going to put on the prophets, right? He's going to become what his ancestors were, right? You're going to become the Shalakim. You're going to become the Malakim. You're going to put him on. He's going to give you power over the nations. To give him power over the nations. He shall rule them with a rod of iron. As a vessel of the potters, they shall be what? Even as I receive of my Father. He says, you know, that's what he's going to do. So he's saying he's going to make you that. Right? Even as I receive my Father, and I will give him the morning star. He that hath the ear. If you can hear this, then hear it. If you can't hear it, then you won't never hear it. And you will be on the outer court. You'll be on the outer court. So anyway, and I told y'all about, so this is the context of taking off the old, putting on the new, right? Putting on these garments to be able to serve before the Most High. And leaving those garments and going serving the people when you have to. Because everybody can't be in his presence. Because this is an order. There's a set-apart people. There's a set-apart function. Do you want to be in that function? Well, humble yourself, right? Under the mighty hand of Yahuwah, right? Seek him while he may be found, right? Because whatever your works are, that's how you qualify. What is your works? What's your sacrifices? What kind of sacrifices are you bringing? Right? Are you going to be numbered with the host? Are you going to be able to warfare? How can you warfare without the praise? All these things, but all that. So if you can do all those things, then you can hold the rod. And whoever holds the rod, bring the people out. Yehuda should be saved first. Right? Moshe did what? He held up the rod and brought them out of captivity. So when the rod is lifted up, the people got to come out.
Moshe had to hold his hands up so he can continue praying without ceasing.
That's right. That's right. Victory formation. So anyway, so we're looking at that, and the last thing I'm gonna say is, so I told you I had two dreams. The second dream, after I was putting on the first dream was putting on the garment. The second dream was, and it's as you all know, it was odd. It was just me cutting up meat.
It's got good, families. It's got good, families. Now, families, man, after all the things that you done been taught, families, why would you refuse to turn around? To go back and help your brothers and sisters, man. That doesn't mean for you to go back to their old ways, families, and not understanding all the things that you done learned. Who will go all the way back like that?
Serving it, steak, serving it to the people. Say it again, Mom. Well, yeah, it's covenant, and then it's the weightier matter. It's the weightier matters.
It's the inheritance.
Right, it's the inheritance. We have to be able to understand that and eat this.
Claim it.
Ye are Elohims.
It's yours.
Right.
Claim it.
Right.
It's yours.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Crying out.
the meat. After Noah was proven, after he endured nobody ate meat before Noah.
Right.
After he endured and was proven righteous amongst all the men of the earth, survived the sword, the judgment, and then offered up offerings to the Most High made a covenant with him.
Right.
And then he said, the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fear of you and dread shall be on their faces.
Right.
And the meat shall be for you for food.
Hallelujah.
That was his inheritance because he could judge good and evil. So now he can go judge clean and unclean meats.
Right.
Same thing to Peter.
Right.
because he received the inheritance from Yahusha.
Right.
Now he can go judge men, good and evil.
Right.
Who he can break bread with.
Right.
Some will be cut off and be pronounced unclean. Some will be pronounced clean. You just read in Isaiah 11 all the animals together.
Right.
That's all the animals that was with Noah.
Right.
That's all the animals that Peter saw on the sheep.
That's right.
Who was leading the animals? A child.
Right.
Yahushua said, if you can become like a child,
right,
you can inherit the kingdom.
Right.
And you will be able to have this meat as your inheritance.
Right.
The beasts of the field and the birds of the air are for you as an inheritance. That's what you're seeing.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. Did everybody get what he's saying? So remember, during the time, and me and him I forgot me and you had talked about that. So when you're looking at what the Most High set Adam to do, the Most High set Adam to subdue the earth, to rule it, and to rule over what the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air. But after the intervention of Hasatan and the fallen ones, they came. Then all of a sudden you had the beast having rule over them. Right? Beasts of the field, same thing. The Most High set Israel to have dominion, set them up to be a nation, to be above all nations. But what happened was they ended up being under the submission, under the authority of who? The beasts of the field and the fowls of the air. Right? So here come Noah, a preacher of righteousness. Right? He after he escapes the sword, the Most High makes a covenant with him to be able to do what? To be able to eat that meat. So if you can eat it, it means you can consume it, you can devour it, you can rule over it. Right? Clean meats.
Because he can judge good and evil.
Right. Right, exactly. So in that, he sets up, he brings order. He resets up the order. The first thing he did was make the burnt offering and sacrifice on the altar. He sets back up this order, and he's able to rule over that. So he's able to eat these meats. So when you're ruling over the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air, the clean meat, or you can kind of reference that to being like the nations who will survive. You read all the prophetic writings, it'll tell you that there's two different groups of Gentiles that'll be out there. So there's the Gentiles who are left behind. I hate this term, left behind. People think about rapture. Who will survive after the battle, because there's certain Gentile nations are going to try to come up after we're regathered, and they're going to be, all the people are going to be slaughtered. They're going to be absolutely, utterly destroyed. When they're destroyed, there's according to Ezekiel or Zechariah 1, I think Ezekiel, that it said there'll be a remnant of them left behind that still survive who didn't go up to the war. So those people, they're going to have to come up, keep tabernacles, keep Sukkot, same thing. But you understand what I'm saying? So they're going to have to keep the feast, right? If they don't keep the feast and submit to the order, then they'll be wiped out. So, but the precept for them in the text is the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air, which means that the commemorate.
Pause. Hey, blessings, beautiful Queen Anointed and families. You see how, man? Oh man, this is it's beautiful, family. It's beautiful, man. Like families, you remember we was talking about how every time it talks about like the beast in the field and the families, that it was different parables and different sayings to that, families, but it all meant the exact same thing. Let's go more, Ray Josh.
The scripture says that you will become meat to them. So you became the meat that was being consumed by them. You're the ones that they were killing and they was consuming. Now you rule over them. But you're only consuming those that are the clean meats, right? Which means that the ones that are righteous, the nations who join themselves to the Most High, then you're able to be in fellowship with them. You're able to consume them. You're able to consume those clean meats. And then the unclean is cut off. They said, right? They cut off. So that's basically what he's saying. So in the context of, and you can go back to the dream about the meat, that's all I was doing was cutting up steak and serving it to the fam. All right? Go ahead, Mom.
I just wanted to say one last thing, because this has been heavy on me since I've been in here. There are people who will give you the argument that we've always praised and prayed, and where has it gotten us, and we haven't had any change in our situation because that's
Now
what we
listen
do.
to the
We
daughter of
never
Zion.
think with
She's
our
a big beat
intellect
right here.
and build and blah, 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 right? If you think that growing food, if you think that having communes. If you think that that is going to stop this system from crushing you, that is the most illogical thing I have ever heard. And it is not based in fact, because you can look at our history here and see that we have built, we have acquired, we have established, we have rooted, planted and rooted, and it is always torn down because we are not allowed to have those things by the oppressor.
That's right.
So if you think that thinking your way out of this captivity is going to work, that's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. If you think praising and worshiping is illogical, but building someplace that is always torn down, what you built, is logical, that's a delusion that you're under.
That's right.
That's a strong delusion. What has never been done by us as a people is for us to corporately return to the law, statute, and commandment, to corporately worship and praise and pray. That has not been done. We have cleaved to other Elohims. So stop telling yourself that you're smarter than those who worship and jump around and give praise to the Most High, because you're investing in a system that's going to be destroyed. You're building in a place that's going to be torn down. How is that logical? How is that smart?
Right. That's pretty much it. When you're looking at, there is no time period when we, first of all, there's no time period where we in mass return back to the commandments. That's never happened. There's been times when there's been little uprisings of people saying we the people. That's it. There was one right after slavery, one right after during the Reconstruction. There's little pockets of people here and there saying we're the Israelites. But this awakening, this massive thing that's going on right now, you can't even scroll through Facebook without somebody talking about Israelites and all that kind of stuff, and people talking about it on the news and all that kind of stuff. That's not a thing. This is one of the reasons why like I tell people come to me all the time, well, how do you know it's the 400 years? It was 400 years then. It's 400, the same, blah, 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 all these numbers and stuff. Get out your head. Look at prophecies. Look at how prophecies. The main sign is not even the 400 years. The main sign is that we all gathered in here talking about we the Hebrews. That's the main sign. Because the scripture says when you remember yourself in the land of your captivity, that's the biggest sign. The sign of Jonah. Remember, there's no sign that's going to give into this generation, but what? The sign of Jonah, 3 days in the grave. Right? But you don't know that you're in the grave. You think you're in the home of the brave. And of the free. Right. You dig? So this is the thing. You have to understand that is the sign. So once you see that sign, then you see all the other prophets line up. We've been here 400 years. Well, that's along with the awakening. You can look at the nations. This is another humongous sign. The nations that's supposed to come against Mystery Babylon. You can check them off. King of the North, Iran. Matter of fact, even if part in Jeremiah talks about how even Turkey is going to be aligned with them. It talks about Iran and Mini, which is like Turkey. Now Turkey is becoming an alliance with them. You read, even if you want to go to the Apocrypha, it talks about going to the Asia. Now Asia is lined up with them. You see it all happening. Everything is lining up. And then, like I say, the Most High is giving us these revelations about all these things. So we are the sign. We're the sign. That's the only sign that you have to understand. If you can understand that sign, then you'll know that where we at in the timeline. Right? But again, it's he that have to hear, let him hear. You're not going to hear it, you ain't going to hear it. There's people that didn't hear during Noah time, they died. People that didn't hear during Yirmiyahu time, they died. People who didn't listen to Hamashiach before 70 AD, they died. You gonna die too. Exactly. So anyway, that's all I got. Anybody else got anything else?
Pause, families. Now, families, we want to give all praises to the Most High, Yah Yahuwah. Thank you for sending that set apart Raha Kadesh, that 5 families, to really truly give us understanding. We got to thank the Most High, families, that He is waking up Yasharala and our families. And ain't nobody going to stop it. We don't give a care what camp it is, family. It's real, families. Those that come over with them counts, families. And I ain't talking about Israel. Families, I'm talking about these Christian counts. Those that sitting there saying they ain't Christians, but families, they have a Christian mindset. For real, for real. They will be so easily to seek you in just because you want to follow one of your brothers or follow your sisters, one of your sisters over there. And then families, all it's going to do is just continue to corrupt your mind. And all you trying to do is help them out. But families, the Most High, He want us to get out of a corruptible body so He can give you a incorruptible body. Family, that means that you must learn. You must learn. You have to relearn. Never go backwards, because that will set you back for what the Most High truly has for you. What He truly has for you. Your true purpose, your true reason. Are you going to be able to put on, and will you be worthy? Will you be worthy, my brothers and sisters, to put on them heavily priestly garments? Will you be able, when you get to the gate, they open up the gates? Will you be worthy, families, to go through the inner courts because you used to be part of the outer court? Will you be worthy to go into the sanctuaries, families? Pass through the sanctuaries so you can sit at the Most High Yah's table. Kwam Yasharala. Amen, King Will I Am. Man, beautiful Queen Anointed. It's good to see you, sis. All praise to the Most High Yah. Shabbat Shalom, Queen. Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful Queen, no shade. Kwam Yasharala. Shabbat Shalom. And I seeing everybody is starting to, I actually see like how beautiful Queen, no shade. She's actually starting to, put that into her, through her lips. You know what I'm saying? Like not just Kwam Yasharala, but the Hebraic language, our culture, our language. I see King Will I Am and beautiful Queen Anointed. They actually saying Amen. Families, we actually be saying Hallelujah. The exact same praise and worship that we'll be saying, the exact same words that we're gonna be saying when we in that wilderness and we see the great whore Babylon fall. We're gonna say the true Hallelujah. Hallelujah, man. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom, families. So, families, let's stay in order. Let's stay in order. Take heed to instructions, my brothers and sisters. Tomorrow, families, man, we're going to have another class before the rest of our brothers and sisters, families, start doing a Shabbat class for tomorrow. The Shabbat class for tomorrow usually runs about, some of them do about a good 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, families, I'm looking forward for that. So, before we end up going to the mysteries, families, Brother Josh and them families, they will be going live tomorrow. You know that for a fact, families. So before we even catching one of his lives, families, you steady gotta get to the milk. You know what I'm saying? That way that you can be able to feed your other brothers and sisters that has finally getting into this truth. That way that they can come to where we at. Because families, there gonna be a lot of people, they don't understand like what are they talking about? You done missed a lot. But you can always go to it. It's part of you. You is of this. May the Most High Yah always hold you, guide you, bless you, keep you, and protect you always, Yasharallah. Always. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yah and live. Where the children of Yasharallah at? Scattered abroad on all four corners of this planet. Man, I want to say that we are out here. Let's go. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharallah. Shabbat Shalom.